interrogated. Ain't nobody say no. Ever since day one, I've been making history before even. How y'all doing today? Thank y'all for joining us.
1 second.
1 second, okay.
Yeah. Live. Yeah, we're live now.
I'm just trying to be great. Peace, kings and queens. I want to thank you for joining us today as we have this very important conversation with credible messengers, with frontline workers, people who really do the work in the community about what is actually going on in our communities. A lot of times you hear a lot of things about us without us. And, you know, I wanted this panel to reflect the voices, the ideas, the knowledge of the people who actually are doing frontline work, who are in the communities, who are dealing day to day with people, who are hearing the cries of our communities, who adhere to the cries of our communities, who are putting their lives on the line in our communities. And I wanted you to hear their voices. I wanted you to be able to hear from them what this COVID-19 or coronavirus, how it's affecting our communities and some solutions. Not only how it's affecting, but solutions. This is going to be a panel about solutions, about building. You know, a lot of what we've seen has captivated and cultivated fear, and rightly so. We definitely should be scared, not scared. We should be aware and be prepared for what's coming on, what's going on in our communities, because we do know COVID-19 is taking lives. But we want to educate you. We want you to feel empowered. We want you to feel strong, and we want to give you real knowledge from people that you trust and that I trust. So that's why, you know, I'm here today, and I want to say thank you all for joining us, and thank you for this esteemed panel. Thank you for all of the panelists who are here. You know, they are amazing people. I'm gonna let my co-panelist who's moderating with me, Tamika Mallory, take it from here as she introduces this esteemed panel.
So we're not following the outline that you asked me to go.
Go ahead. I want you to do it. Yeah,
you know, I sent the whole outline that you're supposed to say this.
I'm supposed to say it. I thought you was gonna say it.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't my turn to say anything yet.
Oh, okay. So if you want me to do that, then I can do it that way. So listen, since she doesn't want to be the person who does it,
they don't listen to me.
I did listen. That's why you told me that ladies first. I always try to be a gentleman, and I wanted to, you know, to extend my hand to allow you to open it up. But what I'm going to say is, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to give each panelist 2 minutes to explain who they are, what they do, and how they've applied that during this pandemic. How have they applied their skill set, their knowledge, their work during this pandemic to help our communities. So what we're going to start with is Miss Kepra-Kears.
All right, so this is just an introduction. My name is Kepra-Kears.
2 minutes.
My name is Kepra-Kears. I am a servant. I provide therapeutic wellness services to people impacted by trauma, particularly Black and Brown people in our communities. And so my specialty is wellness, but it's holistic wellness. And so how I've applied it in this time, I know that we as people are holistic people. And so it's not enough to make sure that we take in the foods and the nutrients, but it's also important that we be mindful of our mind and the energy of fear that impacts us. And so I operate from 3 principles to keep us well during this time: align, alkaline, remind. One more time: align, alkaline, remind. And what that means is get in alignment, you know, focus on the breath, you know, be mindful of using the breath to alleviate stress, and also keep the body alkaline. So we want to eat alkaline foods that bring life to the body. Aloe Vera is a one-stop shop. And we also want to be reminded of who we are. So we always want to reach out to another person to get a good word, you know, or if you can't, just speak the word over yourself and know that you have the power to tap in and raise your frequency. So what I'm not clear on in this moment is whether I'm presenting or just presenting myself.
You just
presenting.
presenting yourself right now. You just presenting yourself.
I was like,
So
we're
you don't
gonna
have
get
to
it all
present
in.
yet.
If this is it,
You
this
got,
is
I
not
know
what we presented.
you
So
sound like
yeah,
you was about to get into it
I was
too.
about to go in,
Say,
but
we're gonna need it because listen, we definitely want to hear all of those things that you have. That's why you are here, because you know you are loved and respected in the work that you do. But thank you.
Yeah, so I don't need 2 minutes to introduce myself. Give thanks.
Yes. So next we have Mr. Derek Grace.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm Derek Grace. Title, I'm a father and a businessman. I try to strategize for the future. I like to practice something called preventative maintenance. So I feel like it's very imperative that, you know, we just assess what we can down the road, prepare for it now. So when these things do transition to meet us, you know, we're able to pivot and maneuver around them. Very simple. Bro, I heard you mention some things that we're doing right now. Well, I do have a lot of ties out of the country in places like China and whatnot, due to me, you know, having board games and things of that nature. So I definitely have been stockpiling up on masks. I was gonna get with Trey about that this week to make sure that we can get that to the people in need. And outside of that, bro, I'm also launching a toilet paper company that's gonna produce black toilet paper. And I'm actually, along with that, we're gonna have our own watering, bro. And my goal with that is to make sure, because I saw a lot of people within our culture that was like, you know, out, didn't have nothing, or got to stand in these crazy lines of fight for a roll of tissue. So I want to make sure, bro, that our culture knows somewhere that they're going to be prioritized in terms of their basic necessities. So the whole goal for me jumping on that was just to make sure, I mean, ain't knocking Walmart, bro, but I just want to make sure we not line up outside of Walmart being rationed off a roll of toilet paper at $2 and being handled a certain way. I want to make sure that we know we got somebody within our culture who gonna make sure they prioritize our necessities at the top of the road. So yeah, bro, that's, you know, that's what I do. That's what I've been working on, and just educating people as best I can. I've been homeschooling since 2015, so educating people as best I can in terms of putting the babies on and making sure everybody under the roof is a power player.
Thank you very much, Derek. That's definitely great, man.
No
I
problem.
love the work that you're doing in our community and for our people. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Mr. Tony Lewis.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike, first of all, thank you, man, for putting this together. And my name is Tony Lewis from Washington, D.C. I'm an author, activist, actionist for children with incarcerated parents, what we got is now, and reentry expert. I work with men and women returning from incarceration, helping them stabilize, find gainful employment, connecting with opportunities for entrepreneurship, so on and so forth. I've been a leading voice here in D.C. around violence interruption, and try to be a bridge between the policymakers and the streets to ensure that our people get the services that they need to survive and to thrive. And so, in terms of what I've been doing in the midst of COVID-19, I've pretty much been doing the same thing, like that I've always been doing, right? Because in necessity for what I do, I think has been you know, brought even more to the forefront. So I've been fighting every day to try to get as many people connected to opportunities, services, and so on and so forth. And again, I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Tony. We appreciate you and the work that you do and have always done. Next, we have Trey the Truth. Peace, brother.
Yo, what's up, G? For those who don't know, I go by Trey the Truth. They call me the hometown hero. I represent the city of Houston, Texas. With me, it's pretty much simple. A lot of people who know me, I'm one of the people that just get to action. You know, I don't really talk much. I just get to what needs to be done in any type of disaster, any type of situation, let alone just people going through poverty, struggling, or any other situations. Where I'm at in the state of mind or what we're doing now, as you know, when we had a private meeting amongst us all, you know, I've been responsible making sure people get their grocery supply and with money for those who not working right now and those who just not having the help. You know, going out purchasing them that. We've given out, me and Bumpbox giving out probably 20 to 30,000 masks between here and Cali to the frontline workers, the inmates in jails, because you know a lot of the inmates tend to be forgotten. And it ain't really much of an option for social distancing when you in distancing in jail. So, you know, we took care of them with that. I mean, I do a little bit of everything. I mean, right now, what I did, like I said, when we talked before, I got with Styles and Pharmacy for Life. We had a little IG live, just giving people the knowledge of what they need to know about their immune system and things they can do to try and help prevent it or help make it through the situation. Because, you know, that's one thing a lot of people are not talking about, which is how to keep themselves healthy and what other things they can do, you know, as opposed to waiting on somebody to tell us what to do. We need to jump, shall I say, be proactive with the situation. So my thing is just trying to do whatever needs to be done to help as many as we can help. And Derek, I heard you say about the mask. That's dope, because, you know, that's where I actually got my mask from China. I got more coming, and I'm just trying to do whatever, not just for Houston, just for everybody, period. I think the importance is just trying to get the knowledge to the people, because so many people are anxious to get outside. So many people are anxious to just get to moving around. And I don't think they really know how serious it is, you know, or even if it don't affect them, how many other people they can affect down the line.
Appreciate you, Trey. And that's what I love about you. Like you said, you always just do the work, what needs to be done. And we appreciate that. And next we have Miss Erica Ford.
Peace, everybody. Erica Ford. I'm a soldier and a leader, a humble servant, working in New York City and around the nation to reduce gun violence. The way I transform that is helping to reduce the spread of the virus, either by distributing or, since I'm quarantined away from home, it's just working on a master plan and then distributing the master plan to the brothers and sisters on the front line, getting them the tools that they need, whether it's masks, aloe, laughter, whatever it is. That's what I'm here to do, just serve the people.
Appreciate you, Erica, and you do that well. Next we have Mr. Angelo Pinto. Unmute yourself, Angelo, unmute yourself.
I've been having a rough time with technology today, but Angelo Pinto, attorney, do a lot of legislative work, and also a co-founder of Until Freedom. We have had a couple of talks so far around COVID and confinement. The first talk was just generally around what's happening with folks who are incarcerated. And the second talk was specifically about what's happening with women behind the wall. Additionally, I've been working with a friend of mine we were working on a reparations initiative, and we thought that the COVID moment was a great opportunity to really begin to work on it. So we started to raise money really just to get and buy masks for the communities that were most vulnerable and would need masks, maybe not be able to afford masks. And during the course of doing that, we've been able to raise really, like in about 7 days, is a few $1,000s for masks. But we've also got a bunch of masks recently donated by Black mask makers. So one of the things that we're working on now is really trying to build out a network of Black mask makers who some will donate masks, but others who will actually be able to pay for masks. And one of the things we've been thinking about and really wanting to do is use this moment to build an economic engine so that Black folks who may be out of work or who may have lost work can actually get an economic stimulus through mask making. And also so that folks who don't have masks can have access to masks. So we're really trying to understand the need and also use this opportunity so that Black folks can kind of get a piece of what's happening economically and what's going to happen for the foreseeable future. So those are the two big things I'm currently working on. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, Angelo, and the work you do is very important. We need legal people to tell us what our legal options in the situation is. Next, we have Mr. J. Morrison. Gotta unmute yourself. Okay.
Hey, Peace King, thank you.
Peace to you.
Family. Want to give a salute to my son, the General, for being a servant leader to our community and organizing this amazing body of other servants and leaders and those who are in the trenches in the streets. I'm the CEO and founder of the historic Tulsa Real Estate Fund, the first Black-owned real estate crowdfund in the history of America. Videoing live from the Black House, our house, right here in Atlanta, Georgia, just 2 miles from Tyler Perry's studio, 5 miles from the world's busiest airport, Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. And what I bring to the table is kind of my bio is just economic empowerment and really being a crisis specialist, someone that's come out of poverty, been through prison, been through the streets, been through parole, work release, ankle monitoring, probation, and every part of the system, who has succeeded as an entrepreneur through real estate, business, and credit. I'm also a CEO and founder of the J. Morrison Academy, Inc. 500's number 588 fastest growing company in the country. And I want to lend my gifts, my talents of life transformation, economic empowerment specialist, entrepreneurship, or whatever else that I can offer to our community and to the group. And not just want to do it digitally or virtually, but we want to do it in the streets. We want to do it in real life. And I salute everyone on this call, and thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Brother Jay, for the work that you've been doing. It's tremendous. Thanks again.
Appreciate
you. Now we have Mr. 19 Keys.
Peace, family. Ramadan Mubarak to all that's practicing and observing. I go by 19 Keys. I travel around the world teaching Black people knowledge of self, mindset management, business, everything that I know, essentially. How to shift your paradigm. We're in the middle of a paradigm shift. And in this narrative is what I call the new America. So really providing people with the tools, because everybody has to go through the recession. Nobody has to go through it alone. So just through collaboration, education, and one of the biggest things we did was the petition against the COVID-19 tracking, just to instill some guidelines, because I'm working with a sister who has a business called Streamlytics. And one of the things she focuses on is us being able to own our own data and get paid off our own data the way everybody else targets our data. So that's been a big project, just being able to lend my platform for that. But beyond that, teaching people about the stock market, educating people about health, immunology. We have a product and health business called Goldwater Corp. Our goal is to make people, Black people especially, healthier and smarter. So, you know, this particular time has definitely been a time for, I believe, any essential leadership to be able to shine. If you didn't have anything essential for the people, then you probably wasn't essential in the first place. So, you know, I definitely glad that I can be of assistance to our people, especially through a lot of people going through the SASS, is what I call them: stress, anxiety, depression, suicide, and then navigating into the new world of mobilization, automation, and digitization. So I'm glad to be here on this panel with everybody else that I know doing the work.
Thank you very much, 19 Keys. I applaud you, and I'm a big fan of the work that you do and the education that you give our people is definitely needed. Next is Brother Reza Islam.
Peace. Assalamu alaikum, family. Ramadan Mubarak. That simply means blessed Ramadan. We are in the second day of the holy month of Ramadan, where over 1.8 billion people are praying every 3 to 4 hours. And it's a very, very, very hot month and very trying for those of us who are going through it, but we're going to get through it, God willing. I am Brother Reza Islam, and heavy emphasis on brother. Above anything else, any and everything else, we must be brothers and sisters to one another, because if you see your brother or your sister, you are looking at your other self. So we have to come at one another from the perspective of serving the people and providing solutions to the people far more than selling to the people. Above everything else, I am an independent researcher. I have been also an activist within the community for about the last 18 years or so, tackling areas such as the abuses in the medical field, helping to get laws passed in that area. I've been involved in that area for about 15 years. We recently got electroshock treatment, they call treatment, or electroconvulsive therapy, banned in the entire United States, where they were still electroshocking pregnant women and children. Recently, when it comes to vaccines, I've been working with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., as well as Dr. Brian Hooker, Michelle Ford, Lucy Cole. These are the key individuals when it came to the information regarding the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, causing autism in Black boys at the rate of 236% more than Caucasian boys, as admitted by Dr. William Thompson, the senior lead scientist over the Center for Disease Control's Vaccine Division. That information was being pushed to the Black community, but no major leader, group, or organization wanted to take it on because of their ties primarily to pharmaceutical companies. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. came directly to me. We received that information. I brought it to the Western Regional Representative for the Nation of Islam, Minister Tony Muhammad, and we brought that to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he brought that to the world at the 20th year anniversary of the Million Man March, where it was exposed to over 1.3 billion people in 42 countries, to where the world now really understands exactly how vaccines are affecting Black people, and particularly far more than the Tuskegee experiment ever did. We have won a recent battle in New Jersey, where we were able to, I specifically flew to New Jersey and met with some of the Black politicians to educate them on exactly what these vaccines do and what the laws would have done, which was remove the ability from parents to have the rights over their child's body. So we educated them. Their vote was a yes. When we educated them about it, they switched their vote to a no, which knocked down the law. And therefore, in New Jersey, the men, women, and children have the right to still choose whether or not they want to be forcibly injected. Those are different areas that I've been involved in, along with human rights, along with gang intervention, drug rehabilitation, drug education, years before I was on social media. And now people recently have known me on social media for educating the masses as well as bringing solutions. So I'm just a brother doing my best that I can as a part of the entire circumstance that we're dealing with as a people, as a member of the Nation of Islam. And of course, just a Black man doing what we can to provide as many things that is needed for the people. And I'm very honored to be collaborating with my brother, my son, Sister Tamika Mallory, Jay Morrison, everybody who's on here, because we have a lot of work to do. So let's continue to do the work rather than simply talking about the work.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you and all the work that you do. It is heartfelt, it's authentic, and that's what I love about the work you do. And last but not least, my brother Wallow 267.
First of all, I want to say this, man. If I stop breathing tomorrow, not that anything's wrong with me and anything, I love all of y'all that's on here. We might do different things, but I think Black people need to start realizing that we ain't got to be doing the same thing to help Black people. It ain't about no money. It ain't about none of that. Like Reza said, and Reza, I seen you on the front line out in LA. I didn't get a chance to speak to you because you was busy. You was handling your business, but brother, I love you. I love what you do. Another thing, whenever we do this, we got to make sure that we cannot be having no forum to talking about anything and we leaving the youth out. That's the disconnect. That's why they ain't trying to hear what we talking, because every time we do something, they not included. Shout out to brother Ben X. I mean, I was thinking about him to death. I don't even know why I didn't mention it. But I just want to say I love all y'all, and this is why. If I was still in prison right now, there's a lot of my homies still there. The fact that y'all doing what y'all doing right now, that's everything. There's brothers in there that I done seen scream for hours because they was maced and they was beat. I'm talking about just continuously, and you in a cage and you can't get to them, you can't do nothing. Food was poisoned, all types of stuff. I talk to the brothers now that's in there, the guards don't know what's going on. They got them locked in 23-1. Come out, you get what you want. Come out, get a shower or a phone call. They leaving, they coming back in there. But I don't want to get off. I don't want to get off on that one. My name Wallow 267, and what I do, I make people think, laugh, and cry. And because I'm able to make them laugh, I'm able to get in their heart, and they're able to be receptive to the message that I'm giving. I'm just a regular brother to do regular stuff that a lot of people don't do. So it look quite extraordinary when I'm doing it. I'm out here on the ground every day. I mean, the best place to me is the ghetto. I love it. It inspired me in any type of way. And I try to show people through technology, which is the phone, of how they can make it happen. And it's just like, be a part of this. It's like, because I never seen myself as the way I seen myself is the way that the system talked about me on the paperwork. Wherever I was a criminal, I was a career criminal, I was this, I was that. I spent 20 years in state penitentiary, and I spent 5 years in the juvenile facilities. I spent majority of my life on this planet Earth inside of a cell, inside of an institution. So whereas though when I was free, it was cool to get locked up and get killed because that was just a part of the process when you married to the streets of Philadelphia. Shout out to Jay Morrison. Shout out to Tony Lewis. Shout out to Tamika Mallory. Shout out to my son. Shout out to my brother, Derek Gracie. Shout out to all you. And once again, I'm thankful to be a part of this. 19 Keys, I can't forget him. If I don't talk to y'all all the time, if I don't, listen, blame it on my mind and not my heart. I just be in my zone. And I blink out and I focus on what I gotta focus on, man. But I just want to let y'all know that I'm thankful to be a part of this. And I just want to say this to all y'all. When y'all doing y'all thing, stop giving time to the people that ain't doing shit that just want to critique what y'all doing. Fuck what they think. Just keep going, man. We got to stop giving attention to all the people that got something to say about what we saying, about what you believe in, about your approach, because they ain't doing shit. They just sitting there critiquing. Stop giving energy to these people that make these comments on the internet that ain't doing nothing when you really doing something for people. Just keep doing what you're doing, and don't worry about if it's perfect. Don't worry about the structural thing. Just know that you're helping people, and there's people out there that really appreciate y'all in an extraordinary manner. That's all I gotta say.
That's love.
I appreciate that, brother. That's well taken, because I need to take that advice, because sometimes when you so passionate and you know where you come from, and to be questioned by people that you know not do so, it gives you a little. But I'm gonna be a lot more mindful, brother. And once again,
it be misguided admiration, brother. And sometimes OG told me this in the prison yard, man. He told me something real, man. He said, when I see these young boys act out the way they act out, I know what they want. They want a hug. You know how many young boys? Yeah, because ain't no black man tell me they love me when I was coming up. My stepfather was in the penitentiary. My dad got killed from being in the street game. Ain't nobody black never tell. So hurt people. So a lot of times it'd be like, you might ain't answer their DM because they got a rap song, or that's all that be about. And sometimes they just want to get your attention, bro. So you got to be mindful. You got to be understanding of that. There's a lot of trauma that's going on where we from, man. These young boys I be talking to that'll shoot you and blow my brains out, that'll do Nipsey. A lot of these boys been molested, bro. They've been neglected. And every visual they had of a black man was their dad left the house. They had to go in the back room when the dude was coming through to have sex with their mom. So they looking out the back door, talking about go in, and about time they get off the steps, is a black man giving them a package. So a lot of times it's this trauma that's is unthinkable. So that's why it's so easy for a black man to kill a black man, these little young boys. So all I try to do is tell them, listen, man, we gotta do an energy transfer, because they the most fearless people to ever walk the planet, these young black brothers. And if they can transfer that energy, and if we can show them how to transfer that energy, how to make some money, if they can master the game on his phone, you should be able to make the game. Teach them how to build these solar panels and all this technology shit, so we can stop being left out of that. That's what it's about. We got to show them how to get some fucking money. And if we could do that, we could win. Sister Eric,
yes, sir.
Love y'all.
Wallow, the panel's over. Wallow done ended the panel.
No, I ain't know.
He done said all this stuff. No, I'm just playing. No. Wallow. Listen to me. You always come from the heart. You come from raw.
My son, let me just interrupt you for a second, because it's short time and it's a lot of people, right? And yes, so Wallow opens the door for
that's what I was about to do.
The science behind addressing violence as a public health issue, right? And why we have to deal with the whole person and not just taking a gun out of someone's hand or responding to somebody saying something. We got to heal their mind, body, soul, and spirit. And you need like 40 hours, like a whole session of class right here with the giants that you got on this thing. But I'm gonna just say that the more that we work together on healing young people and lifting our collective voice and understanding that we don't make success unless we're together, and whether we're in another city, in another country, and doing different lanes, we all got to lead towards the same thing. And the more we form Voltron on these young people, and the society that continues to control their mind, we win. And so in New York City, we created something called the New York City Crisis Management System, and it gives them jobs. It gives them health and wellness, healing trauma, which is what Kepra does. It gives them interrupters who go out on the street as OGs and work directly with them. It gives them, it's where they are in terms of the jails and the prisons and so on and so forth. But we address it as a disease. And that is all I want to say for today, that we have a 35-foot mobile trauma unit, and we need to get mobile trauma units in every city, because I be seeing all these cats roll around, and we need to get these mobile units so they could go into a studio immediately and put pain on beats so that they can learn how to heal themselves, like the brother 19 Keys and Kepra does. And so that's all I really want to say for today, because there's too many giants up here and too short time.
No, you can't. You got to come back.
You got some more stuff to say. We got time. So listen. So we're gonna have Miss Tamika Mallory introduce herself, give her brief introduction.
So I'm so not going to introduce myself, just because I think we've already kicked it off. I want to share Wallow's sentiments, that I love everyone who's been a part of this discussion, and For the most part, I have personal relationships, and if not, I'm definitely from afar sending my love and hoping that we can all work closer together. I think we should break this conversation up into parts because we do want to have a robust convo for the next 40 minutes to, if we can stay on for an hour. We want to have a robust conversation. And I know for all of us, we're busy, we have a lot going on, but we also have an obligation. Everyone that is here speaking today is talking to people on their personal social media and or a part of other conversations. But to Erica's point, I think what was so powerful about my son bringing us together is that this group is like Voltron. This is really where the rubber meets the road and where everything connects in our communities. And as I said in a post that I made today, we don't all agree on every single point, but we love Black people. And when you hold that in the center and know that Black people also love each and every one of us, we have an obligation to come together with all of our stuff that we have going on to try to give our people information. So I want to make sure that we shout out the source for being a part of helping us to bring this to the community and us to really get started with the conversation. We want to first focus on the issue of community awareness. There's a lot of information out there. We were told, I don't know if you all saw the video that has been going around on social media of a white woman who, it's hilarious. She's saying, wear a mask, but don't wear a mask. She says, you shouldn't be in contact with other people unless you have to be in contact with other people. And she goes on to basically make all of these confusing statements because that's how people are receiving information in this moment about what's happening with the coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever we want to call it. People are receiving, one day don't wear masks, you don't need a mask. And then all of a sudden there was the mad dash for masks. And I want to be honest in saying that when I hear people talk about collecting masks, it's kind of like, I know I saw someone say in our comments, but I need Lysol, but I need wipes, right? Because people need more than masks. But getting a mask is literally a life-saving piece of equipment in this moment. And it's powerful that so many people are coming together to get that out there. However, that's not the end all be all. There's a lot of information that we need to help try to sift through. So I'm not going to try to ask everybody a specific question. I really want us to try to group together and we're trying something that it doesn't work for my ADD, but maybe it'll work for all of yours. I want to get Trader Truth, Wallow, Tony, Riza, and Erica Ford, first of all, and everyone is able to chime in, give your statements. We want to hear from everyone. Let's make this a conversation that's inclusive. But in that particular group, Trader Truth, Wallow, Tony, Riza, and Erica Ford, we want to talk about the community awareness perspective. Do we think our people know what they need to know? Are there any specific things that you feel like they don't know that they need to know? And what do we do to go about ensuring that our people are getting a clear and consistent message? Any one of you that wants to start can start.
I would say I don't think the community has the proper knowledge, and I'm gonna say I don't think they do because I don't think we all have the proper knowledge. There's still things that I question, like I may see one thing on social media, I may hear from the news, I may hear from somebody else, and that's three different ways. The main problem that we have within the community, and it's been that way since a youngin', is trust. So the reason why I feel it's important for us to be doing this now is for us to gather the stuff that we know is solid information so we can start helping them to understand. That's one. And two, we have to lead by example, because if I'm telling you to stay in your house and every time you see me, I'm out and about doing what I'm doing, or if I'm telling you to stay away from people and every time you see me, I'm at a gathering, then that's going to make them second guess what we have going on. But I think honestly, it's gonna be hard to get people to fully break and trust, because it's just so much, you know. That's the power, that's the gift and the curse of social media. You know, we see some things and it may give us a little relief when we see it. Then we may back door and see something else minutes later that's something totally opposite of what we just thought. So I think what's gonna be real important is, like for other brothers who are on the panel, some of the stuff they say is knowledge that I don't have, that I need to learn. You know what I'm saying? And I think once we get to that point, and like Wallow said earlier, we can't exclude the youngins, because most of the people who out right now is, if it's not a parent who's struggling trying to take care of their household, it's the youngins, because they don't feel like they want to sit in. You know, they feel like they've been cooped up too long. They need to get out and do their thing. And it's very important for us to find a way to make sure that they understand it's not just about them. The stuff we do can affect others. And I think when we hit them within their chest where they can feel it, shall I say their heart, you know, you got to realize every youngin still have a mother, some may have a father, some may not. They got brothers, sisters, cousins, people, or grannies who they care about. Most of our grandmothers raised us anyway. So once they go to realize and this stuff can affect people who that they care about, and they start understanding more, I think we'll start getting a little more comfortableness as far as when it comes to the knowledge. But to sum it up, long story short, I don't think they're fully aware, because I think even with some of us, we're not fully aware. I think it's just a confusing situation.
Wallow, you was getting ready to say something?
I just think that Trey, I love you too. You already know that, bro. I just think I see you, Angelo, too. I just think that because we in the ghetto, we do conditioning listening, meaning I'm listening based off of my conditionings. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's cool to say stay in the house, but if I'm stressed out, food gone, I got to go back to the trap. I got to get some money. Things that, so we got to be mindful, and that's why sometimes having the young people on here, they could be able to articulate that mindset, so we can have a better understanding. One thing about me, when I go to the young boy on the corner and he got that tight shirt on with the gun hanging out, I'm like, yo, I go to him and I go to him like this. I don't go to him like this, because I need to understand that. And I think a lot of times we always quick to talk about what somebody doing wrong, that we never listen to what they doing. We never listen to them so they can tell us why they came to this place in life. And when we talk about these young people, they very receptive to nanosecond messaging. We live in a world where everything is, I'm talking about the attention base is like, attention span is like 6 seconds. So a lot of people, and I'm gonna break this down real quick. A lot of people try to understand my videos when I first came home from jail. What I realized is that when you going down that timeline, I had to battle to give you the information. I had to battle with the girl that was naked, the dude with the jury on, the rapper, the ball player, the dude that's flexing in the hood. So when I jump off this roof, I'm running down the street, you're gonna stop. You might laugh, but you're gonna stop. Damn, he said some deep shit. He jumped off a roof, or he was laying on the ground with ketchup on his head, because I had to understand the attention span. I had to understand I got to get this off quick to him. So when we doing messaging, whether it's a flyer, we don't need all that jargon on that shit. Ain't nobody reading no $5,000, no 500 page. They'll read 5. So how can we put the messaging straight to the point, to where as though it's straight to the point, is informative, and it's beneficial, mutually beneficial. A lot of people that we have on social media, a lot of times, and it's not knocking nobody thing, it's about a give and take. It's about, damn, what can I get from you? So they like, I ain't even tapping into subscribing to what they got going on. They asking for something. So we got to make sure when we doing them flyers is receptive to our audience is. See, we be messing up the audience, and we think we just talking to all blacks. No, it's different blacks. You know, I asked my grandma 85, I asked her something, and her perception of something be different than my mother that's 60. And then it'd be different from my niece that's 18. So we got to understand that it's different flyers, it's different messages for different demographics. And if I got a message to these kids that's young, yeah, I can give it to Wallow, because he know how to speak the language and wear the uniform that they understand. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna give it to little boo boo. I'm gonna give it to him.
Let me ask Erica and Tony, I'm coming to you, Reza, in a moment, but you guys are messaged to different groups or different demos within a demo all the time, right? I mean, Eric, you focus specifically on very young people a lot, but you also have messaging that reaches the entire community, not just in Queens, but all across the world. So is that the issue at this point, that we haven't collaborated to put the information in one place and to break it down in all the languages? And let me tell you why before you speak to it. Kirsten Foy, who most of us know, Minister Kirsten Foy, created something called the 10 commandments around coronavirus. And it said a lot of things, no ciphers, right now, and a bunch of stuff, no group sex, all kinds of things. And there were a lot of people online who were upset about it. They said, you're talking down to Black people. And I think people miss the fact that there are some people within our community that's actually the level where they are, and they need the information translated to them as such. So Erica and Tony, you speak to that?
So I speak to the young people by paying them to stay in the house. I'm on their lives at night when they having them sex parties or out there rolling CeeLo, rolling bunts. We'll stalk their lives and jump into their lives and talk to them about why they need to, or pull up, and give them masks, give them gloves, so that if they're doing it, then they're doing it in a safe environment, a safe way. To the older people, we make calls, we do meditation, we do yoga, we speak to everybody in the language in which they understand, but I think that what it is for us, we need more resources because we need more of us to get to more of us. There's a lot of us, and although we out there, we got a 35-foot bus that drives around, plays music, talks to people, hands out masks on the block. We are where they are, and that's what we have to do. Yes, we're going to transform information to who it needs to reach, but we need more resources to get the information to more people. We're up 24 hours a day. I'm in California and I'm still working on both California and New York time. And so we just need more soldiers to help get more words out. It's not a translation issue.
How do people do that? Tony, how do people get in? So you got people every day saying, I want to help.
Yeah, so I think people got to figure out, what their role is. Like, one of the things that's interesting is that, we can share all the specific information, but in terms of people being able to enact that or take that and utilize it the way that we see, or maybe the way we are able to, based on our privilege or where we are, is two different things. So I think based on just what Erica just said, it's important that we identify resources or push on people to bring additional resources so that people in our communities can, even if something as simple as having a mask or being able to be financially stable enough to stay in the house, so on and so forth. I mean, we're really dealing with critical issues with people that are formerly incarcerated, people that have mental health issues that's in the street, people that's homeless, that's in the street, that come from our communities. You look at DC, Baltimore, Philly, during this pandemic, and gun violence has not stopped at all. And so all of these things are variables in people's inability to just say, okay, I'm gonna stay in the house. And so for me, it's been about not only trying to provide whatever direct services that I can provide, whether it's employment or linkages to community-based groups to provide food and masks and things of that nature, but also pushing on, legislators and policymakers to say, hey, let's not forget this said population. Many of the people that we're dealing with, people are pretty much what I like to describe as a subculture. And so whether it's, whether young people or, people that are our age and older, that live quote unquote off the grid, and those are the people that are literally the most at risk, and they may not, people that may not go to the doctor normally, people that may not be engaged on in mainstream, and I think those are the people that we speak to and speak for. And so we can tell them one thing, but if we can't help them get to that point, then we're doing them a disservice. So I hope my hope is that collectively, right, we can do our things individually, but collectively, like as we talk about forming like Voltron, that we can put pressure on our local and national legislators and funders, if you will, to specifically target our populations and organizations that's working with those people.
Right, because it's like people are telling us to stay home. They're saying that our communities are disproportionately impacted by COVID-19, but then we're like it's like we're like the dark, what do you call it, the black sheep in the family. Because you see all of these fundraisers happening on a high level. You see people, big people that we love, and major organizations and networks raising money, but you hardly ever hear of those resources reaching the Tony Lewises and all the people who are in this discussion, so that we can actually go out and ensure that those people who are sort of missing from our community, that they are, you know, impacted by that. So Reza Islam, you know, you've got a lot of information that you've been sharing, and you've always, you know, you mentioned the CDC piece. This is information that you know, has been, that you all in the Nation of Islam have been sharing for a long time. It's not just during this pandemic, but throughout history, we know that the Nation of Islam has always sounded the alarm about different things happening in our communities. My specific question for you is, how do you deal with having information that not everyone agrees with, some people are afraid of, some people are just not ready to deal with, but still pushing through that and ensuring that you put the message out there so people can go either way? Because, and you take it from here and frame it as you see fit. But what is difficult for me sometimes is trying to mix truth with applesauce so that people can get everything that they need, and also maintain their sanity. Because when I go to your page, sometimes I feel like I'm stressed out when I leave, because I don't know how to deal with all of what I'm receiving.
Beautiful question, and thank you all for all the answers, everything that you've said thus far, because it is all needed and important, and people need to hear how we're thinking. They need to hear how we're thinking, because we reflect the minds within every respective hood, every respective city and state in this nation, in this country. So thank you for that. Sister Tamika, the question was dealing with initially information and how is it that the information is getting to the people, what's proper, and do we feel like the people are receiving the proper information? And then your question dealing with how do you deal with sanity and having all of this information and getting it out to the people. The first thing is, I've been in the community long before social media for years. I've been doing this since I was about 9, 10 years old. So my mother's a naturopathic doctor. She had about 7 clinics of her own. So I've been working with our brothers and sisters in the hood on drugs, heavy drugs. Many of my family members were on heavy drugs, crack cocaine, Skid Row, you name it, different hoods, etc. So I was raised in this environment to where you see it all the time. So that's why I'm able to tolerate. I have a high tolerance for evil and wickedness. And Minister Farrakhan said that if you do not know how to tolerate or to handle the evil of this world, you won't be able to solve the problem, and you will not be able to help your people, because it is a big deal. It's a big job and a very wicked enemy that we're dealing with, to where most of what we see, we don't even believe it's real, because we've been so programmed to believe that it's fiction or it's a movie, which is, you know, partly credited with the CIA with how they use movie theaters to desensitize us to this stuff. But my point is, one, when it comes to these type of topics, specifically this pandemic, I've been working within this area for about the last 7 years when it comes to vaccines, infectious diseases, working with the politicians, etc., and working with the children and families who have autism, etc. Number one, the information has to come from the people who are directly involved, is the first thing. A lot of people, because of our heart, we really want to help. We really do. So some of us will jump into this and have jumped into this, which is more than likely completely out of our element, and just sharing information because our intent is to help our people. We want to make our people aware. We want to give them solutions. We want to help them to feel better. We want to provide some inspiration, and so that they don't feel, like you said, stressed out, like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. So our intention may be good, but as Minister Farrakhan said, to be sincere wrong is to be dead right. Because some of us, or should I say most, not on this call I'm saying, but I'm just saying generally, have put out so much information that was strategically set up to confuse the people by the mainstream and by many of these special groups and organizations that all at the same time did a blitz of false information and propaganda all across the internet. That and a large portion of the people in the medical industry had no idea that this was going to happen. So they don't have the proper information and they were lied to themselves. I'm speaking on this from the whistleblowers that I have spoken to, from those who work in the CDC, those who work in Emory, Dr. Brian Hooker, you can look him up, Judy Mikovits, you can look up all these heavily credentialed individuals who have told me all this information. So when you're talking about this information, the first thing is we have to rely primarily on those who have been experienced and directly involved in this area. We can't just focus on the people who are sharing stuff, one, because their heart just wants to, spread it, or two, because some people just want to capitalize off of it. Some people do. When we've noticed, we've been seeing people who just want to capitalize, get likes and views and all this stuff, treating it as if it's some other day, when people are dying. This is not a plaything. It's not a joke. So we have to be very mindful to go to the proper sources of information, which happens to be the people who have been directly involved in this arena. That's the number one thing. And if anyone on this call, whatever area they're in, I want to go to them because that's their area of expertise. That's what they're involved in. You want to know about certain hoods, you go to the hood. You don't go to people who have analyzed it from a computer 30 miles away. You go straight to the source. And that's what we have to do to prevent the pushing or the perpetuating of so much information, because it will scare the hell out of people and it will toss us into more confusion. Last thing I'm gonna say on that is the masks and the gloves are all well and good. However, according to the scientists, and I'm not saying this from mainstream anything, according to the scientists themselves, the masks are primarily for those who feel symptoms, are experiencing symptoms, or who already have corona and are dealing with it themselves, as well as those who have asthma, diabetes, or anything affecting the respiratory system. That's the number one who should be wearing the mask. That's what's for number one. And secondary to those are elders. And then third to those are people who have weakened immune systems. And then after that is the general public. That's the order scientifically according to the biochemistry. And lastly, they know, and they know for a fact, that the boosting of the immune system is the only way to get out of this, because there are other things going on as a part of this. But we have to just give the solutions to our people now, because that is the only thing they need. They don't need, like Wallow said, a lot more information. They don't need all that. They need, what can we do? So we have to change our diet. We have to increase our immune system with what we eat and what we drink. Get off fast food. We're going to have to cut out the alcohol. We got to cut out the smoking of weed because it attacks the respiratory system. We're going to have to change things for ourselves that will improve our condition, because they strategically made our environment a cesspool or an environment that breeds disease and viruses. Fast food, alcohol, drugs.
You're going to another section.
Yes, sir, because we're going to need that. We need that.
And we do need that.
Y'all let me know. Let me know.
But wait, before you, my son, you pick up it and jump in on the next topic. But I want to know, are we saying RZA, Eric, everybody, understanding? Because I know how our people are, right? We hear information, and sometimes some of us don't listen to the full sentence. We gone after a few words, split seconds, 6 seconds. So are we saying that if you are a pretty healthy young person, like my 21-year-old son, that he doesn't need a mask, that people shouldn't worry about wearing masks, because if you don't have these different issues, the health, pre-existing health conditions, you're not, overweight, your respiratory system is not already compromised, you don't have symptoms, that you should not wear a mask at all? Is that what you're saying? Or what we're saying?
No, I'm saying that.
No, that ain't, I'm
saying that. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Riz, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that based on the fact that for so many young people where I'm from, they don't know what their health condition is.
Right.
You know what I mean? They grew up with asthma. They don't know if they got diabetes. They ain't been to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? So I
Correct.
think the best practice is for them to wear a mask, in my opinion.
Makes
And
sense.
Right.
he
And I
got a
was
valid
saying
point.
that
Go ahead.
oh,
Very valid.
Trey the Truth, you were gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say he have a valid point, like what I said earlier. We have to be proactive, because I didn't learn that till after the fact about people who had masks with people that were actually felt sick or had the symptoms. I was thinking totally opposite, which that was, again, I had to get the knowledge of learning that. But I think everybody definitely still needs a mask, because, and maybe y'all can help me. I'm still not even sure if the situation is if it's airborne or what, because I can go, if I leave to go do certain stuff, I instantly feel a different type of sickness when I go in certain areas. So maybe somebody else can chime in and help me, but I definitely feel the masks are mandatory, because I don't.
and that's what.
Go ahead, Reza.
Go ahead.
That's what I was going to say, which is just so I can clarify, and thank you all for that. I was referring to the people because of the shortness or the lack of masks, that the order of importance is, according to the scientists themselves, the doctors, et cetera, is, of course, those who are dealing with it, who are already infected and sick, then those who are elderly, then those who have weakened immune systems, regardless of whatever generation they're in, and then those who are healthy, strong, et cetera. So if you're in a house, you have 3 masks and 4 people, or 3 masks and 4 people. But if you're the healthy one, strong and everything, then that will be a small sacrifice, to make sure they have those until you get yours, or make a mask. If you want to use a rag, et cetera, it won't be the quality of the N95 that stops 95% of what comes into the mask, why it's called N95. But that's a slight sacrifice that we have to make. And the other thing is, on that other point, droplets are what go through the air to a certain degree. So they're telling people to stand 6 feet apart. Then one article said 13. Then MIT stated 27 feet. So this is the misinformation. I want y'all to understand how they're manipulating people. They're saying 6 feet, 13, 27. So now you got people getting really paranoid when the overall base 100% guaranteed solution is the strong immune system that you were given by nature. This is what the scientists have told me. They don't even follow the protocol outside of wearing masks and gloves. I'm talking about some of the staff at Emory, some of the staff at the CDC. They said they use natural remedies, herbs, vitamin C, ginger, all of these things. And they said they wanted me to let you all know that that's what they do. So that's the first thing. So keep your immune system strong and everything. But wearing a mask is something that generally we're doing to keep in line with everything so that we can help our people, because we don't want them to get paranoid is really what we're dealing with. Our people are very influenced, easily. So wearing the mask and gloves is something that we definitely should do. And if there's a shortage of masks and gloves, then give it to those who need it most until we can get our own.
One thing that Tony said, I love that, and I love everything you're saying, Rizza, because you speak so clear and straight to the point, and you out here, the minister of information. You unbelievable with that. Your research game is historical. But like Tony said, we got a bunch of people out here where as though we live in a community where going to the doctor is not cool, so we don't know what anybody on. We don't know. Everybody out here, they want to have sex raw. They want to be. We don't know what is so much disease is going on because we just out here wilding out. So we don't know. Like he said, is like a young cat don't know what because they don't know what condoms is. I'm not saying them as a whole, but a lot of people don't know what a condom is, so they don't know what they got. You know what I mean? So I think you're right. Everybody should just be taking precautions because you don't want to be a transfer because you don't want to take it back to grandma. You can't do that. You can't take it. So
which is what's happening.
Right. Yeah,
which is what is happening in the hood.
She going out 85 now. She gonna go out because you want to keep running in and out the house.
Right.
Come on, my man.
And the point he's making is nobody knows. You got some people that don't have no symptoms at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some people have symptoms, but you got. What if you sitting around 10 of y'all that got it and you don't even know because everybody feel healthy and normal?
The thing for me. Go ahead.
I just wanted to put a question in regards to in the spirit of solutions. What I'm hearing is if we could, one, create a list of the top do's and don'ts based off this information, right? Simple, to the point, do's and don'ts. I think a list, King Rizza, somehow we can galvanize of verified, certified, credentialed people to listen to and to follow, right? So kind of a do's and don'ts of who to listen to as well. And top foods or health habits that we can have. So we had a top 5 or top 10, just 3 concise lists that we all could post using our mass influence of saying, yo, for the hood, here's the priority of mass.
Hood protocol, hood health protocol.
Hood health protocol, yeah, that makes sense. The baby's next, next, right? This the priority of your household as a CEO of your last name in the hood. Here's a priority of food. Bring it into the house, right? Stop the fast food, stop the Coca-Cola, stop the this, yo, intake more oranges than a cup, right? So I'm saying in the Spirit Solutions, I think the work after this panel to go out with, here's the who you listen to and who you don't, whether it be organizations, platforms, individuals, foods and health habits that you eat and that you do, priority of mask and gloves within your home, and things to look out for while you out in the streets or in and out, things you should be looking out for. You know.
Yes, sir, Jay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Jay.
And I want to follow up with that by saying, as we move into the next thing, is that what I encourage people to do in all of these things is discernment and common sense. I don't want no one to dismiss their own common sense for any information, you know, because common sense is very important. It was given to you for a reason, and we need to take information from experts and people who learn certain things. But we have to add that. We have to add that with our own common sense as we move forward. Like you're saying, we don't know what anybody has. So just to be on the safe side, why not wear masks? It can help. It's not going to hurt you if you wear a mask. You know that you give yourself more of an opportunity to survive. If these things do travel the way they're saying, if it's not wrong, cool. But I don't want us to move around captivated in fear. This is not what I want. I want us to move in strength and move in knowledge, move in common sense, not captivated in fear, in which we're not, because a lot of times fear and stress breaks down your immune system. People don't understand that. When you constantly stressed and fearing things, your immune system can't even be built strong. We'll move on to that later. But I want to talk about, as far as these masks go, it's a law now. It's pretty much the law. You have to wear masks. So as we move on to the next subject about criminal, how the justice system is attacking our communities and how we are at risk and far more at risk to being harmed and arrested and brutalized even more in this COVID-19 because they want to practice social distancing, especially in our communities. How do we attack that? Because a lot of people don't want to wear these masks. A lot of people don't want to do social distancing. A lot of people don't want to adhere to these
rules,
guidelines and rules.
I can't get the word right now. The times that we have
curfew.
Again.
Oh, curfew.
The curfew. There you go. Yeah. Oh, I was missing the word. People don't want to adhere to these curfew. These young people don't want to listen to those things. So what should we be saying to them? How do we address it to them to where it makes sense to them? What should we be telling them? Because I've watched in the recent news, the young boys have been arrested, for not social distancing. You see them being lined up and arrested. When you go to other communities where we watch the Jewish community have, gatherings with thousands of people in the street and no one is getting arrested. The way they sending them home quietly, asking them, some of them just sitting out there watching these gatherings. So what should we be telling our community?
We did see one person get arrested the other day, and what we said about the video was it was very clear that person that was being arrested was allowed to move around. The crowd was very close around the police. They were really emotional, and what we know, and there was never a gun pulled out, but in our communities, we know that if the same behavior was exhibited, somebody probably would have been shot. So,
exactly.
But they'll say it's not true that no one was arrested. So we should acknowledge that, but also acknowledge the privilege.
No, but that was a different day. I'm not saying, because those are two different events. I don't hear you.
No. It was a part of the same type of situation because they have been working to get many different communities, and particularly the Orthodox Jewish community, to stop having funerals and large gatherings at the same time while trying to break up some of the parties that's happening in the hood. And what they're saying is that the way in which our communities are approached. And so again, I actually don't disagree with the way that the officers approach the folks in the Orthodox Jewish community. I think that's the model that they should be following. That instead of guns out and an attitude that is as if the people are animals, I think that we should be treated the same.
Exactly, and that's pretty much what I want to move forward to. So, what do you guys speak to? Angelo, being an attorney, what advice? What do you see that we need to be saying to the young people in our community on how we need to deal with the criminal justice? How we, it's because there's a lot. It's very hard. We've completely just changed our whole reality. Our whole reality has changed. So what do you say that we should say? What do you we should do?
I mean, I think we're in a vulnerable position, just like with all of this. Our communities in many ways are the places where the vulnerability exists or is exacerbated. When you look at like the health issues of folks returning to communities from prison, generally, we know that it's usually caused a public health epidemic, right? Health disparities, they proliferate inside, folks go back to their community and they increase, they're exacerbated. I don't know if there's something you can specifically tell folks right now that will change their behavior, unless you tell them repeatedly for a period of time. And I think over time, folks will start to say we can shift our practice and shift our behaviors. I think right now, to some of the points that folks were making earlier, we really have to focus on building a system. Anytime we confront an issue or a vulnerability, my thought process is always, in order to confront a system, in order to confront an issue, you have to build a system. You have to build a unit, an organ to really confront that. And right now we haven't done that. I think even when we talk about the dissemination of information so that particular demographics get it, you have to build a system to do that, an intelligent system at that. When I was thinking about while folks were speaking, when you look at how the coronavirus is actually operating, the virus is super intelligent, right? The virus is always spreading, right? And you have to take precautions to prevent it from spreading. It's a system within a system that attacks systems. And we have to build a system that does the same kind of thing, a system that can identify the places where we're weak and vulnerable. If you look at some of the younger demographics who may not be aware of this information, may not look to us to hear what we're saying, we have to build a strategy within a system that really targets them. We have to identify the places and the individuals who are going to come in contact with police, right? And excessive police brutality and excessive stop and frisk and all those things, and get them a particular message strategy to engage that, and also have the ability to contact the folks who can get them out of those situations and confront the police departments, confront the mayor, confront the city. So we have to really identify the places where we're most vulnerable, like particularly when we look at how we're going to be policed throughout this epidemic, and say, what is our rapid response system that we build to protect our folks who are encountering police, and also so that we know to move into action to engage city, local precincts, governors, et cetera. We've done it in a lot of instances where we said, this is an immediate concern. We can't just pass a law to protect ourselves. We need an executive order through the governor. And I think in some ways we might need to be looking to pass those things. And in worst case scenarios, we have to have a system to be deployed to confront those folks who kind of control how power moves in those spaces.
Thank you.
That's why in New York, we created the New York City Crisis Management System to control and combat. And just, last week we had several different incidents where people were being attacked by the police, and they called us, they FaceTime us right while they were engaging with the police, and we were able to talk the police down and talk the individual down, because people is hot-headed. They think, when you talk about fear, when you talk about the disease, it is breathing trauma into people's household. The trauma of losing your income, the trauma of losing the matriarchs and the patriarchs of your family who are the breadwinners, the trauma. And then you go outside. We had a situation where the brother was sitting smoking weed in front of his house because his mother was inside with coronavirus. Police pulled up on him, and so the thing is the systems are there, right, but we have to be part of the system. We can't see ourselves working outside the system, no matter how hard it is for us to want to gain our own thing. We have to work within the system and strengthen and build the systems that are there, and then they will succeed for us all.
And some of that, to dovetail Erica's point, like some of it is awareness about those systems, Right, there's a lot of young people in New York City who may not know that the crisis management system is a thing that they can utilize, that's available to them. So really even raising awareness about existing systems becomes tremendously important.
Appreciate that. Thank you. So Derek, I see you shaking your head. Huh?
I want to say something on that real quick.
Okay, Keith, go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
I think we got what's called COVID-19 myopia. We thinking about short-term relief instead of the long-term effect of this thing. And so even when you think about what's happening in the hood right now with this COVID-19 tracking, if you're doing something criminal, they gonna be able to track you. You understand me? And know exactly what you're doing. They're not just gonna utilize that data to see if you're sick or not. So it's important when you talk about teaching somebody to be smarter than they enemy, you gotta look at this as a war. You understand me? Often cats in the street can understand war terms and making them more strategic and understanding how you're supposed to move so you can be smarter, so you can out-strategize your enemy. And so whether the enemy is after COVID-19 or the enemy is law enforcement agencies that we know are crooked, then if you teach them how to approach it from that standpoint, then I think they can understand the message a little more, that it's about keeping your freedom for one, so you can have power and rulership over yourself. Because I talked to my cousin that's in jail before this and doing this, and you definitely don't want to be quarantined in jail. So like you said, given that level of awareness, every level of consciousness comes with a new power. That means every time you're aware, you have more power over it. So given that sort of information about what are the strategies the police is using, the Justice Department is using, what are some strategies that you should be moving out in the street and just being very real and transparent, regardless how it sounds to anybody else. And to that point about the system, I believe that both need to be met. That, look, regardless if somebody get out of jail and they get their freedom, they still don't have no power. You got to have a system so that you can control it and you can have some power. And I think that that's the message that young people understand, is that I'm tired of relying on a system that ain't worked for none of us for the last 100, 400 years. It's never going to be a message that I think that you can give them specifically. And I'm one of those young people to make you believe in a system unless you have power of your own.
Thank you very much.
On this particular portion of the conversation, just to veggie back off of what the brother just said, it's really important that our young people understand the power of mastery over self. What makes this whole conversation powerful is because we're talking about the impact on our people, on melanated people. And we have let go of the ability to master ourselves. We have melanin, we have a pineal gland that has been calcified because of the way we have been living, because of living with years of institutionalized racism and trauma. And so as a result, someone on the panel talked about how the young people really don't have a desire to even shift. Someone else talked about the need for a paradigm shift and like, what else can I do now? The whole world is changing, and how can I make money? But how can I do that if I'm not tapping into that supreme intelligence that's available to me, that I was born with? As Black people, we are the only people who were brought to this country by force, not allowed to bring our foods, our culture, our spiritual traditions. And so of course, we are not even acting of our own devices. And so when we think about trauma and stress, that creates acid in the body, that calcifies the pineal gland, that also diseases and poisons the body. So even if you eat well, you can be vulnerable or part of the vulnerable group because you're impacted by stress. And the stress weakens the immune system. And forgive me for going out of turn, but I really just wanted to speak about the emphasis of mastery of self. And if we want to reach these young people, we have to like, who's your master? You know, we talk about you don't want to go to jail, but do you really have mastery over yourself? Because you're being controlled by a food or by a drug. You know, what's driving you? And it's because it's in the blood. So anytime you consume something for a long period of time, it gets in the blood. And so then that's what it calls for. You crave it because it's in the blood. So the way to keep the body and the mind clear and the body strong is to clean the blood and then clean the bowels and then protect the breath. And I'll go more into that in the health segment, but I just wanted to jump in with, you know, just speaking to the young people, who is your master? Do you not have mastery of yourself? If you're not able to control your urges, if you don't love yourself or your elders enough to know how to move, then something else is controlling you. And that should intrigue you enough to want to make a shift.
And
now,
can I just add something to that really quick?
Before you go, because Derek has not talked, and mastery of self. One thing I noticed, and my son and I were actually joking about this the other day, Derek, that you master self all the time, because we see you you already was socially distancing for a long time because you're always on lockdown in terms of thought. When we say mastering thought, my son, I'm asking you a question that you were going to ask Derek. What should I be doing? I'm a young person. Again, I have a 21-year-old son who's really doing a damn good job. Let me give him some credit because Erica Ford and Kepra know that, and Angela, everybody who helps me co-parent my child knows that usually I'll be saying he's driving me crazy. But he really has been doing a good job. But I can see where as time is going on, it's getting to be a lot for him to have to continue to stay in the house, particularly for young people in New York, somewhere where this virus, we don't see an end to the social distancing period. So what's something that young people can be doing? And it's not enough to say, think about, I know for me, don't just tell me, think about what you can come up with. That's not enough. I need actual, give me something that I can use to exercise my mind while I'm sitting in my home.
I got you. So for me, I would definitely say them thinking about what they want is a great step, but also trying to find things that they can identify with to strengthen themselves while they're going through this transition. So basically, my thing is I'm not big on telling everybody, oh, well, you need to be an entrepreneur, have $1 million when the pandemic over. What I am focused on is telling them you should be trying to develop self to maximize your potential while the pandemic is taking place, because a lot of us do have some newfound free time and a lot of us do have to practice social distancing. So one of the biggest things I do with my children is, whether I'm pouring into you educational wise, I'm going to pour into you with the love, with the reassurance, with speaking life into you, and just showing you hands-on things that you could be doing in the house, just in case this worsens. Like small things with the family, like having a route of travel should we have to leave the home, having domestic travel. Do you know what relative house we all going to politic and meet at should this go to another level? Do we have passports? And if we do, have we looked into other neighboring countries that we feel like we would be able to adjust to if we got to head that way for 8 to 9 months? Another thing too that I feel like overall is we do have to understand it's unfortunate, but it's casualties of every war. So there are going to be certain people that look just like us that are going to be swallowed during this pandemic, whether they want to or it's just their willful ignorance to go like, well, the hell with it, I'm jumping outside anyway. But I definitely feel like we got to be creating something, especially for the entrepreneurs to pivot. So many of them have brick and mortar locations and they feel like the game is over with and they just got to shut down and take it in the house. Another thing I'm big on my children with, and I tell you all the time, I have multiple books by Donald Trump, not because I'm a fan of him, but because I'm a fan of studying the wolves. And I understand that this is all a game. I understand that the rules are typically made for the poor and the lazy. The poor can't afford it and the lazy just gonna practice willful ignorance and, perish anyway. So a couple of things that I'm doing myself is just, and like Keith was saying, just thinking in terms of longevity and how can we put things in place right now during this pandemic to make sure if this take place again at Christmas, we pivot properly. We got our things laid out, simple stuff that Reese even talk about, learning how to plant in the home. Simple stuff like some of us really don't know how to pull our body weight up, but we really thinking that we prepare for some form of emergency. So these are the type of things we could be working on in the house. And then even outside of that, it's just, I think a lot of us got to be reprogrammed to remove our sole dependence on an entity that never cared about us in the first place. So my biggest thing has always been creating power players in my house. That's why every level of education I have, I give it to my 11-year-old, my 8-year-old. My 3-year-old is not quite ready. My 2-year-old definitely not ready. But I want it to be in a place where I can rely on the people around me and not, because a lot of us in a situation that if the head fall, the house gonna crumble. And I never believed in that. I believed in a lot of us dealing with dangerous children. And I mean that in a positive way. We just don't raise the bar to a certain level, so we never even see how dangerous they are. But one quick thing I do want to touch on, because I know a lot of parents are trying to figure out how to teach in the house, how to homeschool and things of that nature. I want y'all to be mindful real quick that a lot of schools not even teaching your children more than 2.5 to 3 hours a day. I want you to also be mindful, just be patient with your child, assess the things that interest them, create a reward system. Adults and children both love to be rewarded. We love to get things for doing good work. Because I see so many people that DM me and like, bro, I'm struggling, I can't figure it out. And just take your time and be patient with yourself as well, because I've seen work with my children in homeschool. I'm like, bro, I think I did this when I was 6. I'm 30 and I just don't know how to remember how to do the radius or how to figure out a pie chart.
The math is a whole new math, yo. It's not the same math.
Exactly. And then like just outside moving forward, y'all, I really feel like the internet is the best tool that can get us literally anywhere in a snap of a finger. So I really feel like everybody on this panel should bring their expertise, whether it be through video, whether it be through typing it up. But I think we really got to have a hub that people could use these smartphones to jump on with, and they can build in politics and get information that's valuable from each of us that they could use, you know, and run with it from that point.
My son, you're muted. You're muted. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm back. This panel is so dope. We need like 5 hours, but we don't have it. So I want to move forward. And that's crazy that we were just talking about that, because we want to move into economics in a minute. But I want to know, since Kepra, you are one of our wellness, you and 19 Keys talk about a lot of health, and he has a health company. What should we be doing health-wise and mentally, physically? Like, there's a lot of stress and trauma that we're dealing with. Like, this is so trauma-ful. I pride myself on being someone who is mentally strong. And I know that the level of trauma that I'm dealing with, I've been incarcerated, but I feel like the mental trauma that I'm dealing with right now, because when I was incarcerated, I knew what was going on. I was aware. I knew there was a time I was coming home. I knew what was going on around me. I knew to separate. This right now, everything is so up in the air. Nobody knows anything. Even the experts tell you one thing one day and the next thing they change. And what should we be doing to mentally and physically be healthy right now?
So give thanks for that. You know, the interesting thing that you said about when you were incarcerated was two things. One, you knew what was going to happen. So now the fear of the unknown is what rattles a lot of people. But again, we are African people. We come from the unknown. We go into the Amen to bring forth the pyramids, science, mathematics. And so the first thing we want to do is remove that fear, because fear is an energy. So really quickly, if you are feeling anxious or you have anxiety, all that is energy in motion. And there's only two energies that are always in motion, and they are love and fear. And we were born with the energy of love and a sound mind, which is why sound resonates with us so much. But the first thing you can do when you're feeling anxious is to ground yourself and recognize you either thinking about the future or you're taking something from the past and bringing it into the moment. But either way, you're not present. So the key is to stay present. So the moment you feel anxious, it's because in that moment you're thinking about what's about to happen. Because in the moment you're thinking about it, you're still relatively okay. So the first thing is activate the breath. Ironically, this is a virus that attacks the breath. But the breath is the one thing that we've been disrespecting. The breath is the one thing that we're all using right now at the same time, which means the breath is ever present or omnipresent. The breath is the one thing that keeps us alive. Without the breath, there is no life, which means the breath is omnipotent. And the breath is the thing we draw upon when we need mental clarity. So the breath is also omniscient. And when I think about omnipotence, being everywhere at the same time, being all powerful and being able to tap into supreme intelligence, I think about God. We all have that activation in us. And so how many times have we disrespected our breath by what we put in our mouth or the words we spit out of our mouth using our breath, or the foods that block the ability to breathe? And so to keep it really simple, the first thing you want to do is breathe. Someone else talked about the respiratory system and needing the heat. So you can even do fire breaths where you put your hand on your belly. And when you breathe, you'll realize your belly goes out and fills up with air when you're breathing in, and then it goes in all the way in when you're exhaling. And so you can literally, keeping your mouth closed, those are fire breaths. And when you do fire breaths, you heat up the body. You also bring heat into the respiratory tract, which helps to reduce inflammation. It helps to bring mental clarity. The other thing you can do with the breath is breathe in and hold the breath for as long as you can. When you're feeling stressed, hold the breath. Holding the breath actually reduces the blood pressure. It actually stops the heart so you can regulate the heartbeat and regulate the nervous system. So those are two things you can do with the breath. And I think about, because we hip hop, we want to reach our young people. I speak on 3 platforms and I use it in song just to remember, but align, alkaline, remind. Say it again. Align, alkaline, remind. One more time. Align, alkaline, remind. So what that means is first, when you're feeling stressed, get in alignment, straighten your spine. Remember the old school antenna? That way you can take in more oxygen. This is a virus of the respiratory system because we've been disrespecting the breath. So breathe. When you feel stressed, breathe, hold your breath, or do fire breaths. And then the alkaline means to make the body more alive than dead. When the body is acidic, that means it's full of acid and it's dying. And so stress releases, it actually triggers the brain to release hormones that make the body acidic. So when you're stressed, you know that term fight or flee? Well, most of our people have been living in fight or flight moment for a long time. They've been in survival mode because we've had generations of trauma and we've had no reprieve after each situation, whether it was slavery, Jim Crow, the civil rights era, and even now with all of this institutionalized racism that continues. And so we have lived a lifetime of trauma, which means we are constantly releasing those stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. And when they get into the bloodstream, it poisons the blood and it makes the body acidic. But what also happens when we're in a stressful state is that the blood goes to the arms and the legs because they think you got to fight or flee. Like Biggie said, what you want to do, fight or run? And so what happens, if you've ever been angry or stressed, you notice your hands are trembling because the blood has gone to the arms and legs. But when it does that, it leaves the immune system. And what most people don't know is that the immune system, most of it is in the gut. So when the blood is going to the arms or legs to fight or flee in survival mode, it leaves the immune system vulnerable, which is why they tell you to manage your stress or lower your stress when you have cancer or fatal illnesses, because that stress prevents the immune system from being strong. You want to alkalize the body, a one-stop shop. I mean, everyone has talked about it. If you talk about just eating live, that's the first thing. Fruits and vegetables are live food because they contain water. So anything that contains water naturally contains life. And so once you put heat to anything living, you evaporate the water, which means you evaporate the life. So you don't want to cook them greens all the way down to nothing, because then you might as well be putting seasoning salt on a piece of paper. You want to eat it as raw as you can. So eat as live as you can for as long as you can. Things that will prevent antiviral, you've got your oil of oregano, you've got your elderberry, you've got your echinacea, of course your vitamin C, of course your black seed oil. But what if you don't have none of that? You can actually get a lemon and some warm water and squeeze the lemon in warm or room temperature water every morning and every night. You can also take apple cider vinegar. Make sure it says with the mother. Without the mother, there is no life in the apple cider vinegar. Do not get the apple cider vinegar that does not have the mother, and it will say so. And you can put that in warm water as well. But the one thing I've been discovering is aloe vera, because it's like a one-stop shop. This is an aloe vera leaf. Everybody sees it. Most of the time we pass it up in the supermarket. Aloe vera has 75 elements. It has vitamins A, vitamin C, potassium, magnesium. It has so many vitamins and minerals in it, but it also cleans the blood. It cleans the blood and the bowels and reduces inflammation. So if you take a piece of aloe, what I've done is you take a lemon, you can wash the aloe vera leaf, or you can rinse it in some apple cider or rinse it in some salt. And you can find aloe vera in the produce stands. A lot of these meat markets have aloe vera, like I think Western beef, and there's tons of aloe vera because people aren't going in to buy it. But basically, because it reduces inflammation, if you have elders in the home that have arthritis or that have joint pain, they can take it. But cleaning the blood is so important. So you can juice it, you can blend it, but I challenge everybody to get gangster with it and just eat it.
It takes a lot to do that. As a gangster, that's right.
Challenge. This aloe vera is so bitter, but I'm making it sweet in my mind. The same way I would take a shot of Hennessy and convince myself that it's gonna make me feel good.
That's right.
My body good. So the aloe vera challenge
Good teaching,
is
sis.
to eat it like it's a delicious piece of candy.
Hey, Kat, before you keep going, because you listen, let me just tell you, the Facebook comments are blowing up. People are
you can teach. We need you to get a whole class on this. We're gonna come back. You got to give a whole class on this.
They said protect her at all costs. You know, whenever Black people say protect a woman at all costs, that means you kicking some real knowledge. And 19 Keys, you need to chime in on this. We're gonna keep a few moments of this. Other people who are a part of this, you know, everybody who's on this panel If you have something to say about what you've been doing, I got CMOS directly from Wallow, because Wallow had a whole setup. He was making a juice one day, and I was like, yo, what is that? It seems that he didn't want to put the details of it in his comments, but he DM'd me a full recipe, and I take my CMOS every single day. But for 19 Keys, people are saying, I can't afford that. We don't have that. They don't have that at the grocery store, which, by the way, I went in the bodega the other day and aloe was in there on the floor. It was dirty.
$3.
But you know, but it was in there. It was dirty, but it was in a store that had a little fruit stand thing where, you know, something that you usually kick the box to the side and keep it moving, but it was there. But folks are saying they can't afford it. They don't have those options, and that being healthy is too expensive, yet and still we know that that's actually not the truth, and that it's being sold to us that way because folks are trying to go to Whole Foods to get this stuff. So help us out with that, 19.
Yeah, I would say, first of all, being unhealthy is too expensive. You know what I mean? Because it costs you your life. So number one, you got to change the way you think about it. And most of the foods that taste the best, a lot of those are death foods. So you got to think about, you know, when something is good for you, it automatically tastes good. So you got to rewire yourself in your thinking. Now, what a lot of people is facing when you're talking about what it takes in your diet.
Also mute your phones. Please mute your phones.
In your diet, just are the things that you can afford. A lot of this is things that you take out of your diet as well. You understand me? Any inflammatory foods. So if you look up any inflammatory foods, high sugars, anything that's gonna mess with your immune system. Number one, you can go get you some sunlight. That's free if you step outside, 10, 15 minutes of sunlight, convert that into vitamin D, boost up your immune system. You understand me? Vitamin C gonna be good for you this time. Drinking a lot of water gonna be good for you this time. Like I said, sometimes it's not what you eat, it's what you don't eat. So fasting will be good for you to regenerate your body and your cells. Another thing, when you're waking up in the morning and everybody dealing with this stress, it's all about mind management. A lot of time people didn't have them a manager for so long that when they left up to their own vices, they don't know what to do. So I got a morning routine, or I call it the Great Rising routine, because I'm more than none. I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is I smile. I start my day off right. I make my bed up. I get me some exercise in. You should do something holistically that feeds your whole body, whether it's your mind, whether it's reading, get you How to Eat to Live. Go ahead and read that book. Whether it's doing something for your heart, that's gonna be good for your heart as well. It's gonna make you more focused throughout the day. You understand me? So black seed oil, oregano, all of those particular things, you got to look at your habits. Do you have a death lifestyle? Do you have a health lifestyle? Do you eat death food? Do you eat health food? Does it have sun in it? Does it have nutrition? Does it have minerals? We are over chemicalized and an under mineralized society. When you look at the fast food industries, most of them, they'll go in there and say that they're attacking people for talking about false health claims. But we know for a fact that smoking kills people and causes cancer. We know that the fast food industry causes diabetes and these underlying pre-existing conditions in our neighborhoods. Go and get Dr. Wesley Zip Code Wars. He talked about the particle matter in the hood. The air around it itself is killing you. You understand me? And you already living in where you don't have access to nutrients. So the liquor store is part of the problem as well. So you got to boycott that and then boycott in places that's going to have something healthy for you. If you're not drinking water, then your body is dehydrated. You starving your cells already. So you ain't even got to worry about COVID-19 because you already killing yourself on a daily basis. So you got to ask yourself, what am I doing to contribute to the energy of my lifestyle? So you either live in an energy lifestyle or you live in a liability lifestyle. You understand me? If I eat something and give me more energy back to build up my body, then that's an energy asset to me. So for me, every single day, I'm very cognitive of the things I eat. Do you eat anything that's green? Do you eat anything that comes from the earth? Is it natural? You understand me? Or don't natural, because those are words that they just throw at you that creates a health halo, don't really mean anything. So I would say more so just get back to the basic. Go look at, especially for mothers and fathers, and number one, listen to the woman, because Kepra, she laid it out for y'all. You understand me? If you're not listening to women and they are the healers of our community, then you're already doing yourself a disservice. But number one, what are you feeding your family when you go to that dinner table? Are you feeding them diabetes? I just found out that my grandma, I always thought that she died of cancer. My mom told me yesterday she died of diabetes. We didn't even know that that was the problem because she never went and got treated for it. We always thought she just died of cancer. My grandfather died of Alzheimer's and my uncle died of heart disease. And she used to drink Pepsi every single day. But I never seen the FDA or the FBI go raid a Pepsi facility knowing what it does. I never seen them go raid McDonald's knowing what it does. I never seen them go raid Church's Chicken, all the Popeye sandwiches we was eating last year. That's what makes us soft targets for this situation right now. all of that sugar and that glucose and all of the things that you add in your body, you killing yourself. So of course, the people that's naturally killing themselves, they not worrying about a disease because you already living a death lifestyle. Look at the music that you're listening to. Is the music conducive for your focus? You understand me? Music is negative. Most of the time, you should take a fast from most niggas' music. Let's just keep it 100. You know what I'm talking about? It's nothing to give a person a mask and then have those masks sponsored by liquor. Then have those masks sponsored by the same companies that's killing and targeting our people every single day. So when you want to talk about a whole lifestyle change, that's what we have to go to. But number one, just go drink you some water, get you some exercise in, and start to crave you a routine and get rid of those things that you know that's killing you and your family. If you're a mother and you're a father and you have things on that grocery list that you know not adding to the health of your children, you gave them diabetes, you gave them cancer, you gave them those chronic illnesses, you gave them that inflammation in their body. So inflammation, I know a lot of people think about anti-inflammatory, but most people don't know what it is. That's your body's immune response to injury or attack. And when your body don't know what's in that food, you understand me, and it's some chemical, then it responds like it's being attacked. So you literally feeding your body and attacking your cells. So you have to figure out, damn, am I even healing myself every time or am I killing myself? So I would just start from the basics and even looking at what you putting in your body. And a lot of you all just need to go through your list because we overeating, the grocery stores are overcrowded and people didn't need to eat that much in the first place. You understand me? You're supposed to shorten your meals that you eat throughout the day. I personally only eat 1 meal a day. If you want to start somewhere, whether you're Muslim or not, you can always fast throughout the day just to start to sustain you some discipline over yourself. You understand me? My brother, Derek Grace, always talk about fasting and detoxing. When I was younger, my mother been an herbalist for over 20 years as well. So we used to always take herbs in our house, whether it's Dr. Gosson herbs, CKLS, colon, kidney, liver, spleen. All of those things have to have something that feeds it and gives it energy. Whether it's reading How to Eat to Live, like I said earlier, you're not gonna, this is gonna be a quick, short, oh, I just got a spike of information, but go to How to Eat to Live and read that book. You're gonna get a lot that you need in that book, and don't eat more than you work. You understand me? It's like if you're eating starchy foods, your body is not gonna have enough energy to be able to break that down. You understand me? Your cells don't, food is supposed to be information so that your cells can rebuild themselves. So if you getting food, and it's essentially that we eat food so it has, and excuse my cotton mouth, it's Ramadan, so I'm not grabbing for water right now. So we eating food that don't have sunlight in it. What is it doing? If we're supposed to get the energy from the sun in the first place. It said that 42% of Americans are vitamin D deficient. Within that, 80% of Black people are vitamin D deficient and 70% of brown people are vitamin D deficient. So beyond just the socioeconomic impact that makes us soft targets for the disease, it's our lifestyle itself that makes us soft target, and we not understanding ourselves. You understand me? So start from the basic, or drink you some water, get you some sun, ground yourself on the earth. You know what I mean? Get you some meditation in. We hear about these things, we don't do them, and we wonder why we're not getting those results. You only get what you work for. You only deserve what you work for. So if you work for a healthy body, then you deserve it. If you don't, then you deserve whatever results that you work for.
Thank you. Thank you. That's dope. We want to just, okay. Real quick.
You are the landlord of your mind. You can evict negative thoughts. Just keep that in mind. Speak the word over yourself. You have the power and ability to, but be mindful that, like he said, feeding the mind is also critical. Align, alkaline, remind.
Thank you, Kepra. You can have a whole class here, but I want to let Reza touch on this subject real quick. What do you have to say about the whole health? Because I know you've been studying this for years, and this is one of your expertise. So give us a couple of words on it.
Yes, sir. I just want to say really quick, brother, and thank you to everyone who added in each piece, because everything you said was absolutely important and needed. In this area, number one, when we were speaking about, sister was talking about the mind and having stress and how stress kills and destroys the immune system. That is absolutely correct, which is why you may notice, or some of us may not have noticed, that the only thing that they continue to report up until maybe within the last 48 hours has been the infections and the deaths. They continue to say this person died, this many people are infected. Next day, this many people died, this many people are infected, because they know what they are doing when it comes to psychological warfare. One of the things that I would advise us to do is to watch far less mainstream media, watch far less tell, lie, vision. They have to get you with your mind first, and that way, once you control a person's mind, their body will follow. So you will bow down to everything that is being given to you because that's what you're allowing to be placed into your body. So in this area, working with those primarily in drug rehabilitation centers, medical clinics, and naturopathic centers as well, since I was about 11 years old. One thing I would say, one, exercise at least now, because we have the time, 5 times a week. Definitely want to get in, not just exercise, a few squats, etc., but you want to get cardio. Definitely want to get in muscle building. So if you have weights at home, good. If you don't, that's fine. Look up in YouTube multiple calisthenic workouts. So the brothers and sisters who are in the hood, multiple calisthenic workouts that you can do in the house, on the bed, with the chairs, etc. Because as of right now, our health is under attack more now than it's been in a very long time. Second thing you want to do, not just drinking water, but you want to drink water in accordance to your body weight and proportion. So you definitely want to make sure you get at least a gallon. For the brothers who are 200 pounds or more, you want to get at least a gallon minimum of water a day. On top of this, if you're in the hood, when I did the video, once we first found out about this, the coronavirus solutions video, I specified that those in the hood, for the majority, will say that it's too expensive. When you use food stamps, you simply use your food stamps in the wrong area, in the wrong direction. You can use the same food stamps at the grocery store to buy the aloe vera, to buy the fruits, buy the vegetables, etc. Buy some ginger, buy hibiscus, which is extremely high in vitamin C, buy lime, because limes are more alkaline than lemons, but if lemons are the only thing that's available, get lemons as well, aloe, etc. Do not drink purified water, which is the most poisonous, hence why it is in every Dollar Tree, every 99-cent store, every CVS, etc. Purified is the worst water you want to drink. It makes your body more acidic. So distilled, bare minimum, you want to do spring, you want to do alkaline, but not purified alkaline. Also, again, as a brother was saying, get sunlight, but you want to get, for us, because we're vitamin D deficient, we need to get at least an hour and a half to 2 hours a day. So you can go right outside. If it's not snowing or raining, because I know on the East Coast, a lot of times there's not enough sun. So get sunlight. If you can't get sun, then get heat. Take hot showers with steam. Sit next to the fireplace. You want to make sure you get heat in the body, because that also helps us to boost our immune system, break down the mucus, and help the nutrients to circulate throughout our body collectively. And also, again, prayer, if you do that. If not prayer, meditation. If you don't meditate, yoga, if you do yoga, because you have to get the mind right, as well as the spirit, as well as the body. And do not watch overwhelming amounts of negativity at this time. Read a book, because it's working both sides of your brain, while television and watching videos only works one side. So we have to get back our intelligence, our spirituality, and our physical health as well. And we'll be all right. Everything that brothers and everybody was saying is absolutely correct. Read more health books, watch more health videos, cut down on the negative music and the negative everything, and we'll be all right.
I appreciate that, Brother Reza. And you know, a little shameless plug. I do a workout every day from Sunday to Thursday.
That's right.
From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And you can come work out with me. I do calisthenics. All the exercises I do are things that anybody could do. My motto is, I'm not trying to kill you, I'm trying to build you. And if it don't hurt, it don't work. You know, so bottom line is, you're gonna go. We get out of. It's about building the body and the mind. Because once you get your body right, then your mind starts to feed into that. You start to tell yourself that you're strong. And if we don't tell ourselves, like I tell people all the time, Mike Tyson used to win fights because he beat you before you got in the ring. He already mentally had you thinking that you couldn't win. So that's what we're dealing with right now. A lot of our people are committing suicide because they're so scared once they heard that they got COVID-19. They don't even understand the reality of it. So we're building our bodies and our minds. So you can definitely come join me every day from Sunday to Thursday, and we can get that workout in. Last subject that I want to get into.
Before you go on, I need to, what y'all say about this water? Purified? No, distilled, but not purified.
Not purified.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What you got there? You got some purified?
No,
that's smart water.
It says vapor distilled for purity.
Purity. Angelo, you've been a vegan. I want to say this real quick. You've been a vegan before COVID. How was the vegan lifestyle? Because it's kind of hard for me. I've been hard trying, but I can't give up, fish right now.
We got to cut down on meat.
I feel like it's easier. I feel like right now is a big opportunity for lifestyle changes. Like my daughter, she usually eats meat like a couple of times a week, but now she doesn't eat it at all. Like we usually have blueberries in the morning, like raw fruits and vegetables. and then we might cook like in the evening, but that's it. We only eat one cooked meal a day. But now is a great opportunity for people to engage in lifestyle changes. You can't really find meat, I'm hearing, and the meat is expensive anyway. So it's a good opportunity to cut some of that out. And I think include and mix in some fasting into your lifestyle. You know, for a long time, I've participated in a 21-day fast, Queen of Foods fast, the Heal Thyself fast. So, and it's interesting hearing folks talk about what they do and the things they're doing, because I think many folks are already in alignment around their health and wellness on this call, but it's important now to figure out ways to get other folks who may not get engaged in it. But I think now is a perfect time for lifestyle changes, and people should just give it a try. I think even practicing and participating in Ramadan, even if you're not a practicing Muslim, like I think it's a good opportunity to explore how much you can fast, and if it is conducive and healthy for your lifestyle. So plenty of opportunities in the midst of this crisis as well.
Well, what can y'all just be very specific? This is my area, and you guys can see I'm a little sensitive about this because I'm trying to work on myself. Because I like to eat collard greens and macaroni and cheese and potatoes.
Everything that's no good for you.
And by the way, since we've been in, and I know a lot of people, listen, let's just keep it 100. I know a lot of people who are going to be rolling out of their homes after this shutdown ends, because people are cooking more than they've ever cooked. I know I've been cooking every day, 2-3 meals a day. I had to stop because at one point I was getting up in the morning making cream of wheat, sausage, and whatever else, or grits. It depended on if I felt like I wanted sweet. It's like everything that I don't get a chance to do, because as I moved around the country, I didn't have time to do those things. But now that I'm home, I'm eating things, and I had to eventually catch myself when I saw that things were beginning to spread in directions that I don't really want them to go in. So we have to be real specific with people. What's the menu? Just a quick. Somebody, Kepro, what's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that taste good?
Is turn people off, because a lot of people for economics already went and bought a whole lot of meat and fish and whatnot. So we like to keep it real and keep it simple for the hood. Remember how you combine your food, right? If you're going to have your fish, my son, have a smaller portion of fish and more vegetables. Just try to have as much life on the plate as possible. If you don't have any life on the plate, the meal does not count. It is a dead plate. That's the first thing. Also, if you're going to have a lot of fish, remember that fish has a lot of metals. So you can get cilantro. Cilantro is your friend. You can juice it or eat it raw. It helps to remove the metals out of the body. Okay. Also keep in mind that food combining, starch and meat, not your friend. And the American diet, you can't live on a diet. Anything is about starch, dairy, and flesh. And neither of those things have any life. So that's glue, paper mache, and flesh that forms a knot for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast is grits, eggs, and cheese, bacon, bagel, cream cheese, whatever it is starch, dairy, and meat. And the dairy is like glue, and it gets hard. And the starch also gets hard. So if there's no life in your meal, the first thing you do is go, is there anything green on my plate? Not the garnish. Do not combine starch with meat, Tamika. So if you're going to have your macaroni and cheese, I don't condone dairy, but you know, if you decide you want to have a day filled with mucus, just get some lemon or lime water. You know, you got to thug it out and do the work. If you can afford to be inconvenienced and be congested while you're on television, then, you know, that's your choice, right?
And y'all say something about women's vaginal health. Like, so we have to put our brothers in this situation. You got to hear this. You got women in your home.
Understand that mucus. Understand that dairy creates mucus, and mucus comes out of the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the vagina. Okay. And so that a lot of women have vaginal issue because of mucus, and it's not always an infection, and it's not always a dis-ease, so to speak. It is mucus. And so what you want to do, you can drink apple cider vinegar, take a shot. You can have your lemon water, but Tamika, again, what I cannot give you is a menu. What I can tell you is food principles, because if you think of the principle, you can then work with what you got. You don't want to combine starch and meat. If you're going to have your flesh, have vegetables with it, and have live vegetables as much as possible. You don't want to combine, and so if you're going to have your starch, try to have starch that moves. You know, brown things are your friend. Colored foods like colored people are your friend. White rice, white flour, not your friend, right? So you want to move away from the white processed flour. At least have quinoa or whole grains, you know? Again, we can have a whole nutritional workshop, but again, if you're gonna have meat or flesh, have vegetables with it. If you're gonna have starch, have vegetables. Vegetables is like that cool friend that goes along with everybody. Okay.
The other thing that I just want to interject though is also, if we gangsters, if we leaders, then what we leading people to do. And one of the things that I got 40 staff, I took every one of them aloe. And when we start our Zooms in the morning, we eating the aloes together. That's part of your job description. You got to eat aloe. Part of your job description. You got to stay in the house and you got to make one other person stay in the house. So when we begin to put shit in check, we put shit in check. We can worry about all the motherfuckers out there in the world who are doing everything about us. But what we gonna do right here in our own cipher to build our cipher. When we put Tamika in check with her diet and with what she does with her body, then Tamika puts somebody else in check. But it's our responsibility to hold Tamika accountable to she's our leader. And she got to change the way she eat. I can say it the way I say it. Kepra can say it nice. Somebody else can say it the other way. But we all got to say the shit. You can't eat that motherfucking shit no more because it's killing you. And this is what clearly we can say we ain't got no money for shit. We got money for all kind of shit. We can say the shit tastes nasty. We drink every kind of nasty shit, smoke every kind of nasty shit. Our motherfucking people are dying. So either we gonna get off our motherfucking ass and step the fuck up to the plate and save our lives and then save our people's real motherfucking gangsters and put these young motherfuckers in our hood in check and tell them, motherfucker, you ain't going outside. And if they ain't listening, then let's put up the dollars and pay their motherfucking ass to stay inside and let's take the people the food they need. Because it's us that's gonna do the shit for us.
If you clean your blood, Tamika, you won't crave it as much. Green is gangster.
Oh, no, excuse me. Alex Ford and Kepra Kears are on my phone for 2 and 3 hours a day. It's like they monitor what I'm eating in the morning, afternoon, and night. I have changed a lot. Yes, I did fall into a little bad pattern with the breakfast piece, but I have changed.
And I just want
to tell you this, man.
Just real quick.
I know.
I live by the Dr. Sebi's, his food list. Like you can find that online.
That's what I'm on. I'm on the Dr. Sebi diet.
And there's a book called The Mucusless Diet. Like I live by those books. That's
Mucusless Diet.
I eat. It's a great book. It's like basically Dr. Sebi's diet, but the dude is breaking it down. And the great thing about it that I do now with my daughter is I'm trying to turn the home into a classroom. Like where we eat. This is on the refrigerator door. These are the foods we could eat. Like every room has the opportunity to be converted into a room where education is happening and actually unlearning, or like folks are talking about.
Now, I don't know what you're saying, but I know Erica just scared me to death. I'm about to change my whole diet, my whole life. Like, that was some gangster shit. Like, I'm like, man, I don't know if she calling you every day with that and you still eating what she tell you.
I'm doing better. I'm doing better.
Forward. Thank you for that. We want to round this out with economics. There's a few of our brothers here. All of us have, we delve into it, but a few of our brothers I see who definitely deal in entrepreneurship. My brother Derek Grace, Jay Morrison, I see 19 Keys. These are entrepreneurs. I'm on to come up with it, but I want to hear, since we haven't heard Jay for a little while, let's start off with Jay. What do you think from economic standpoint we should be telling our people? What should we be investing in? What should we be doing? They talking about we're in the biggest recession ever in history. What should our people these are a reasonable thing, action items and ways that they could be focusing on their finances, building something, coming up with something that's going to empower them economically.
All right, peace family. I want to veggie back the health conversation.
Veggie back.
Yes. I want to shout out Queen Afua and her City of Wellness concept. The City of Wellness lives within all of us.
Sacred women in the house.
We said Queen. What's that?
I said sacred women in the house. I'm a Queen Afua wellness practitioner.
Yes. So Queen Afua, I reached out to her because online collaboration, and then we actually, my wife and I, Ernestine, we began to. She challenged me as what we call the CEO of our last name. So on a financial principle, we believe here at the Legacy Center, Tulsa Real Estate Fund, all our company, J. Morrison Academy, we believe in the concept of being a CEO of your last name, being a leader and visionary for your family. So I can't be the economic leader of my family, but as you said, I'm feeding death to my family, right? And so I'm a big steak and potatoes kind of guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm a big, but for the last 12 days, I've been eating life. It really just makes practical sense to me. How can I feed my family death and call myself the CEO of my legacy? And so I've lost about 10 pounds. I wasn't planning to, but I lost about 10, 12 pounds in the last 12 days. But my family, my wife, our daughters were eating better. I'm making vegetable soups for our family. We're eating life every day. It's a really empowering thing to know that I'm setting my family on the right track. Because what's the point of building wealth and having economics if we're not around to enjoy it, right? Or I'm dying at an early age, and my heirs got to take on the family company too soon. So that's how I wanted to give everyone a double back. I'm not a health buff, but I do know the common sense principle that eating life makes more sense to me eating death, right? So we're doing that in the Morrison household. When it comes to our family economics, one, I don't know if anyone here is entrepreneurs. Most of us are sole proprietors, contractors, nonprofits, or run our own organizations. I don't know if we took advantage of the free money the government is offering now and has been offering. We took advantage of that. Right now, there's 12 panelists. That's $120,000 that we all could have got a free dollars of a $10,000 emergency grant by filling out a form that took out about 20 minutes to fill out. We took advantage of that from multiple companies and got $10,000 to $30,000 approved of free money just for emergency form fill out that we all could have done, our community should have done, anybody as a contractor, sole proprietor, or entrepreneur. The government still has $310 billion out there for PPP financing. Everyone should be, who has a company, a nonprofit, if you have less than 500 employees, you should be filling out the PPP small business applications. You can do it through your local bank. You could do it through PayPal. You could do it through Cabbage, through what they call FinTech or financial technical organizations. If you don't know how to do it, pay a couple dollars for somebody to do it, inbox me. I can try to lead you in the right direction. It's free money that is forgiven to pay for all your staff, employees, contractors, and vendors. We're looking to get about $1 million of free forgivable grant money from this PPP financing. That's free money for all of us in the phone that got businesses that we should be applying for. Next, for the everyday person who might not be a contractor, you should be doing a monthly household budget. Right now is the perfect time. You don't know how much money we done saved on haircuts, on manicures, on massages, on grooming, on facials, on eating death, on eating out. So everyone should be looking at and be encouraged by, damn, how much money can our household retain by not spending out more money on a lot of the luxuries and liabilities that we've been spending on, and reverting that money into savings, into investments. The stock market is on sale right now. Again, not here to plug anything, but for stock market education, I partner with a king by the name of Wall Street Trapper, and we have a course on stocks and real estate that's stocksvsrealestate.com, stocksvsrealestate.com. And there's a free course on that outside of any paid trainings. It's a free dope training on stocks versus real estate, right? Stock market's on sale right now. Real estate market will be on sale after this crisis. The market is declining, depreciating. It's no longer the seller's market because of uncertainty. So we should be looking to revert our liability money we've been spending and revert that into assets in the crisis or coming out of the crisis. And then I want to say that everyone should see the reality of this time. I'm a firm believer in family life insurance. We've seen tens of thousands of people die in America and throughout the world. Many of us who have not just life insurance, but critical illness insurance. If you get critically ill or you lose your life, how does your family succeed after you? How do they bury you? How do they take care of you? I, as a Black man coming from the hood, it's one of my biggest reliefs in life outside of any business moves I make. I know that if and when I die, not even if, when I die, because I will die one day, we all will, I know that my heirs will inherit a 7-figure death benefit by what I do today. Some of us can't afford a 7-figure life insurance policy, but you can get a 6-figure life insurance policy and death benefit for $50 a month, right? So the same money you spent on $7 a day for fast food or $210 a month for the Chick-fil-A or for the Chipotle or for the Deaf Food or for your Loud bill or for your Henny bill or your After Martini Works, that same money you could have put into a critical illness or life insurance policy. So should you get corona and can't work, or should you die, your family don't have to do a chicken fry or a veggie fry to bury you because you have critical illness insurance You were a good CEO of your last name, knowing that you gonna die, your wife gonna die, your kids gonna die. So why do you guys got insurance on your cell phone, but ain't got insurance on your life? And here at the Legacy Center at legacycenter.com, you can get a free life insurance quote. LegacyCenter.com, free life insurance and critical illness insurance quote. And I encourage everyone in the community, while you can, understanding how precious and sensitive life can be, that we all insure our most precious asset, which is the life God gave us. So those are some simple, practical things that everyone can do go out this crisis. And lastly, I want to say is that we also see that housing is also another thing that threatens us, right? If you're not the Lord of your land, if you don't own the roof over your head, and you are putting your housing at someone else's hands, if you give them permission to house you, you give them permission to evict you. If you give them permission to fund you, you give them permission to deny you. And we give them permission to empower us, we give them permission to destroy us. So I want to give us again, it should be encouragement for everyone to look at how can you start to own the roof over your head and the housing within your family. And of course, we're all about that. So those are my kind of quick financial tips.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you. That was phenomenal. People need to know about money. Listen, we're gonna let everybody round up. We're gonna come to Wallow Trade because I ain't hear y'all in a while. I want to hear y'all round off after we finish. But I just want to go to Derek in 19 Keys because I noticed this is their expertise. I follow them. I make my little business tips based on stuff that they say. So I want to go to Derek first. Give me, what should we be doing right now to build up economics? What should we be investing in? What should we be doing? I know you are a serial entrepreneur. So what should we be doing?
All right, bro, my personal opinion, firstly, bro, everybody got to mentally be able to take a step back so they could view the game from a place of clarity. I think that's where a lot of people slip in. They can't even really identify stuff to take advantage of because they're so overly invested in the news, the media. We gonna die, monsters outside, war, doomsday, blah, blah, blah. So, bro, first and foremost, I want them to take a look at what lanes are struggling right now and where voids can be filled. So I mean, like moving forward through this pandemic, safety hazards, firearm companies, bullets, these things are at a scarce place, toilet tissue, water. Look at the big dog companies who are tanking right now. And like, bro, what I've learned with every, not even pandemic, but just with every switch in the game, it's gonna be losers and winners. So it's really up to our culture to be able to identify from past mistakes or even current ones. Like I said, bro, just assessing the wolves to figure out where to slide in and where they can actually capitalize. Like, bro, it's gonna be some people who come out with a mass concept who are gonna be millionaires following the pandemic who ain't never seen 10,000. So, bro, one of the biggest things I try to tell people, especially during these times, is just identify where things are lacking. And if you can, figure out how you can fall in there and create some type of service or some type of product that could fill the void. So, I mean, like, and not saying Big Bro just doing it for monetary purposes, but Trey got his own mask. I'm focusing on outside of the things I've been teaching and been putting out, but I'm focusing on launching this water company, this toilet tissue, actually a tool that can actually initiate a fire, because I'm thinking more so survival. I'm thinking basic necessities. And then I'm also thinking again, bro, our culture is so powerful that we really don't even have to function and operate with the other parts of the nation alone. We could really just be solely relying on our culture and circulate the bread right there, and we all eat off our own habits and situations. Like, and bro, I'm speaking from experience, from board games to curriculums to everything. Like, bro, that's all us and that's been us. And I ain't never had to try to kiss ass or cater to no other culture of people to make sure my family was straight or to make sure I was getting that information out. So, bro, my biggest thing, I really feel like, and I know we've been saying this for the longest, bro, and I got a lot of this from Jay back in the day, just collective economics, bro. If we could really pull together and capitalize on the real estate part of it. From, like, bro, if we literally created a group where we like, all right, it's the big bag section, kind of big bag, little bag to the small investments, bro. We could collectively come out this pandemic economically and really control a great deal of shit, but we just got to that's why I really feel like us having a platform and a website where people can jump in who got 100,000 to throw towards a building, or who got 100. Like, bro, to me, nothing is wrong with gentrification. It's just the wrong people that's doing it. Feel me? Like, that's why I say assess the wolves. We supposed to go seize the whole neighborhood and be like, nah, bro, you can't come around here. This our section.
Exactly.
I ain't tripping on you, but I just feel more comfortable when people around here look like me. So go that way, bro. So that's really been my focus. And like I said, bro, I really feel like economically, we just got to practice collective economics. We got to have a group of us who only got 5, 10s, and 20s. All right, well, cool. Let's jump on these airlines, because, You know, my big homie been schooling me on the stock market, how Boeing tanking, how all these airlines taking a hit. So for me, bro, the biggest thing is just, number one, be cool. And two, I want to tell everybody this, be appreciative of the times that we living in. I know a lot of y'all only looking at it from a negative perspective, but be appreciative that like, it's some game changing shit that a lot of us gonna pivot out of and come out way more big dogs. So for me, bro, that's how I always view the game from a winning perspective. Like, this gonna be some dope shit I'm gonna tell my grandchildren about when I'm 70. Like, bro, back in the day, it was a time when we couldn't even go out the house. We had to figure out how to make shit work in the house. And then we came out this amount of millions stronger. We went and got that building, went and got that. But bro, being analytical, identify what markets are slipping, politic with people who are like-minded, and y'all seize the market. Like, bro, even with shares, if we had enough like minds, we could really control a lot of these companies. If enough of us went in there was like, we bought the shares. Next thing they know, bro, they like 75% black owned and don't even know it because we quietly just snatching up your company. So, bro, that's the biggest thing I can say. Y'all identify what avoids at. In terms of transportation, that's lacking. People that got concepts and ideas for transportation, let's get them going. In terms of nutrition, that's lacking. In terms of self-defense, guns, weapons, that's lacking. So, bro, it's so many. Bro, they could literally just cut on the ground and see what store got 800 people outside of it getting one item per person. And that's going to tell you right there, oh, it's a void right there. So let me politic with whoever I need to politic with and fill that void. And again, bro, like, I'm of service to anybody because I do have some great ties in China because of my board games and other projects. So if anybody need a liaison to make sure you can get a direct person on the phone and say, hey, send us 100,000 of that, bro. I got no issue with us creating the group and we trying to siege and take back as much as we can when this pandemic over with. Because, bro, that's all they doing. Financially, they just using this as an excuse to hoard poor people, keep them in a certain area. Like, bro, just think about it. I can't even remember dude's name, but they knew the pandemic was coming and made certain plays on the stock market, and he a billionaire now. Bro, it's all game. It's all wolf business. So I tell everybody, study the wolves and whoop them at their own game. America built off finesse. So you just got to finesse the finesse and you'll be just fine, but keep your integrity. Finesse them, do good with your people and maintain your integrity and you'll be just fine.
I appreciate that. That's dope and it's real insightful, man. I appreciate what you bring. 19 Keys, you want to give us some game?
I echo everything that my good brother Derek Gray say. For one, human capital is at an all-time low. You understand me? Because everybody in the house and they can't use physical labor. So you got to go into mindset. You understand me? Every job loss is a job creation opportunity at the same time. They always talk about being an entrepreneur ain't for everybody. But thinking like an entrepreneur is for everybody. You understand me? Even when I had a job, I used to audit their ass when I used to get my hours wrong because I was thinking like an entrepreneur. You understand me? Now, when it comes to having essential skills, I'm gonna go off this list that I give my students. Number one, become complex problem solving, emotional intelligence, creativity, negotiation, judgment and decision skills, coordinating with others, cognitive flexibility, critical thinking, adaptability, storytelling, intuition. All of those things can't be automated. You understand me? Can't be digitized. AI can't take that over. So those are going to be essential skills right now. When you assessing and observing reality and trying to figure out what is essential right now, that's going to help you. I got mobile business theory right now to where I think mobile business is definitely going to take over. Y'all remember back in the day where a man used to pull up with a bunch of t-shirts and you get to buy clothes? Well, imagine if that same man existed through this pandemic, he would have made a killing going through everybody's business. And people don't want to go to large retail centers because they basically just showrooms and you don't want to wear the same clothes. So now your business need what I call a clean halo. Got to make people feel safe and smart. The business industry of UV lighting is going to go up. Anything that's antiviral, the health industry is growing up. You got to learn how to become a prosumer. A prosumer is somebody who makes what they consume. So if you look at everything in your household, all of those are business opportunities. For an entrepreneur, every problem, you understand me, is a business opportunity. So if you call yourself solution-based, then if you think about the people in this room, you should be the best entrepreneurs out there because you identify so many different problems. It's just the issue is that we try to go for being rich and righteous. I mean, rich and famous instead of rich and righteous. Me, that's my whole thing. You understand me? So I would more so take a step back and assess the new habits that everybody is having in reality. That's going to tell you what the new business industries are. The restaurant industry won't be the same. Personal chefing is going to go up. It's going to be like an Uber thing. You understand me? The experience economy, access economy. For one, number one, for Black people in America, access is our wealth, right? So if I tried to hire all y'all speakers to come speak for me, it'll cost way too much money. But if I say, look, let's give each other access to our resources, skills, you know what I mean, knowledge, information, then guess what? Y'all just gave me something I normally couldn't afford. That means that it came to me at zero marginal cost. Zero marginal cost is basically, if you look at your cell phone, I pay whatever, $100 or whatever for this per month. But when I post something on Instagram, that's zero cost, but I can reach hundreds of thousands of people. The same thing that goes with giving each other access. We were shut out of industry because we didn't have access to be able to broadcast, access to be able to create ISPs, internet service providers, and apps and things of that nature. We've always so busy looking at the problem, we never interact with opportunity. You understand me? People want to talk about Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, all those different people, but in 1995, that was the IPO of the internet. But when your mind is distracted on the problem, you don't have enough energy in your mind to see the solutions. So number one, you definitely got to get your order. So you even got the energy to be able to observe at a high level. When I talk about the 19 keys, that's understanding things from the 1 through the 9, adding that up and it come back down to that one mind. You understand me? I want to be able to see everything. So I don't care whose industry is it on this card. I'm polymathic. And they used to tell us back in school, only focus on one thing. You understand me? You can't multitask. Now, all of the people who didn't listen to that, who multitaskers, you understand me? They can easily pivot in another area because every skill is a new stream of income. So I give y'all this one key. This for everybody on here. Give, then receive. You understand me? Give way more value than you receive. If you ever see Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, all those people giving away knowledge, why? Why Donald Trump giving away money? Because at one point, it won't even be worth anything. So think about all the people that hoarded their knowledge. This year, the industry pivoted. Now all the information that they had is worthless. If they would have gave all that information away and gave all that value away, people would reciprocate and buying whatever product they had out at this moment. So you can go sit in front of a camera, sit in front of MP3, to talk your greatest information that you ever got, take that, convert it into a transcript, take that transcript, convert that into an ebook, go start you a Shopify store, which is free right now for the next 90 days. You understand me? Because this COVID-19 has created a lot of opportunities. So it's free right now for the next 90 days. Go get you a digital download. Don't put it on Amazon. They're taking a cut. You understand me? Take all those proceeds yourself. Either give it away for free just to get that value, collect that data, that information, or go ahead and sell it for $10. You got to figure out, don't figure out how you can go get a job. It's always about do for self. Like I said, we always fighting for freedom, but the man that's free without power is still a slave to whoever it does have the power. So the goal is job creation, and think creatively. How can I create my job? Second, last one. Look at the business that's booming right now. If you know that some people have had exponential growth during this time, booming. So if you go to all of those people, for one, they need to hire more people. A lot of people had to hire more graphic designers during this time than ever because they never had graphic designers posting that many flyers for things that they announcing. That's an essential skill set right now. So if you go DM as many people that doing business right now, figure out how can my skill sets that I have be of value to them to increase their bottom line. I told people during this on my live, I had a bunch of people hit me up, say, bro, I can do this for you. I can do that for you. Boom, I hired them. So you got to create your own job, not wait for somebody else to create it for you.
I appreciate that, Keith. So listen, Jay, I want you to just give me something about 1 minute, and then we're going to go in, Wallow, then Trey. Everybody's going to wrap it up from there because we got to go. I want to be on this panel all day, but we got to wrap it up. So go ahead, Jay, real quick.
In fact, I want to echo 19 Keys' point. Digital business is everything right now. I think we do have to figure out ways to make the digital business infrastructure and technologies needed more available to our people. So we collaborate on that, something that we've been big on for the last several years. But to King Derek Grace's point, our fund, many of you guys are Tulsa Real Estate Fund partners. We talk about group economics. We talk to Clean and Full. We don't own or control our own hospital, wellness centers, etc. We have
or farms. Or farms, all of that. So what I want to just bring is the encouragement of the success of what we've done under the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, we've raised over $8,750,000 together from over 10,000 partners from over 22 countries throughout the diaspora. Tulsa Real Estate Fund, which many of you are a part of, we did that together. So what I'm saying is, imagine this illustrious panel right here. We're closing our fund, not closing the fund, but our last capital raise is April 29th, last chance for anybody to invest. Forget that part.
The proof of concept is there. Imagine if we all came together post-COVID and created a new post-COVID fund. Imagine how much capital we can raise to control our own economy. If 40,000 of us invested $1,000, that's $40 million overnight. That 40 million leveraged with a bank at an 80% LTV is a $200 million loan. We could have access to $200 million of capital from us collaborating and really practicing group economics, not on panel theory, but like what we did over the last 2 years. We could come together as a Voltron and control our own economy, control our own dollars, and for our people, and create the CMS vehicles throughout the community. All things that we say need to be done. It's about us coming together and putting those kind of vehicles together post panels and post COVID. That's what I want to do.
Man, I want to say this really quick, but it got to be said during this time. I told people, I tweeted out like every black family should have an LLC and every black family should be backed by gold. You understand me? Now, at the time, if everybody would have listened and got the LLC, like my brother said, they'd be getting that extra $10,000 in. I know like Derek Grace, I got a family business. We work together. When you look at who run this country, it's families. Even though in our community, we always told don't work with your family. And that's only because y'all don't have functional relationships. So those are the people, and then family ain't always the people that's bonded by blood, but the people you spend the most time with. Y'all should be building something together. But I echo everything Jay Morrison has said, because instantly overnight we can win. It just depends on if we really love each other.
That's real talk. So listen, we're gonna round it out. I want everybody to give their closing statements. Make it 2 minutes. I want to be on here forever. This panel right here is going to turn into a conglomerate. Like, this is just not going to be a panel. I didn't put you brothers together, brothers that I respect, sisters that I respect, because I just wanted to hear y'all talk today. I know that y'all are the voices and the pulse of our communities. And when we all come together and we form like the Voltron we are, we're going to really make change, and we're going to empower our communities economically, mentally, physically, health, everywhere. So I want y'all to round out, give your last thoughts, and then, you know, we'll close it out. Wallow, go ahead, and then Trey right after him, and then Tony.
First of all, I love everybody that was on this panel. Erica, let me tell you something. And listen, you something special. I'm gonna just say that you is the truth in every word, man. You was amazing, man. And I got to get to New York to see you, just to give you a hug, just to get your energy, just to be able to catch that whole vibe you got going on. Derek, you said something very important about you got to study the wolves. When I was in jail, I read a book called Think Like a Billionaire by DJT, Donald J. Trump. And he said something that was powerful, and he lived by it. He said the greatest regrets in our lives are the risks we didn't take. We listen, we got to be fearless, and we got to just take risks. We cannot go into things on some scary shit, not trusting black people. I don't want to trust this. No. We just got to take some extreme risks for some great things to happen. And I believe we can make some extraordinary things happen. We seen Uber, we seen Lyft, we seen Airbnb master the middleman game. They just did middleman shit. And look at what they done. They did middleman shit and they turned it up. Some kids in a crib with some computers, and they just set it off. If they could do that, imagine what we could do. I love y'all. Listen, man, we got to figure out how we can continue this. The sister, I don't know, I forget the sister's name. I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Kepra.
Listen, could you please start posting every day the stuff you was talking about? Like every day, you need to start posting that stuff that you was talking about, that health. You know what I mean? About the Aloe, you got to post that. Erica, you got to start. You supposed to be all over Instagram. Because one of your posts will go viral the way you snap out on people. Like you need to be snapping.
But that's not accurate, because Erica does post every day.
But she don't post that. She don't post that.
See, no. She gotta listen. One thing
she gotta post that.
You gotta talk to black people. That's how you talk to black people.
That's true. That's
the bullshit.
Yeah.
Everybody want to be nice and super intellectual, and that's what we gotta stop doing as black people. Save all that super duper smart shit. I'm better than all blacks. Ain't nobody got time for that if I'm struggling and I got a gun on my head. Say that shit. And that's what we mess up at. What she did was the way she speak, everybody, grandma, mom, they got an aunt, they got somebody that they mess with and they fuck with a hard body in their family that speak the way that she spoke tonight. And that's important, that we got to keep that in our community.
But Wallow, they, the ones that you be telling us don't care about, they gonna say, well, how come you gotta talk to black people so, you know what I'm saying, so rough and so hard?
No.
White people like that.
I do that shit every day. Sit your dumb ass down. Or somebody gonna put a bullet in your head, or you going to the penitentiary. I do that shit every day. And they love me when they see me. They love that dumb shit. That's all they love is goofy shit. All that, oh, stop the earth, we should overcome. Let's march. Let's have a meeting. Fuck all that shit. Sit your dumb ass down, or somebody gonna blow your brains out. And nigga, you ain't got no money for no lawyer, and your mom gonna be having a fish fry to pay for the funeral. Stop that dumb shit, man. All right, OG.
The goofy shit is done.
Yeah,
Goofy.
come on, the goofy shit, man.
That's
right.
right.
All they respect. Dumb shit respect dumb shit.
That's right.
We can't keep playing games with motherfuckers and then go kill little boo-boo that's sitting on the steps. Motherfucker go kill Nipsey. We can't be playing games with niggas out here.
That's
Come on,
right.
you got niggas and you got black people. You know what I mean? So we gotta keep it raw. I love y'all though. Don't mind me.
All right, Trey, it's on you, Trey.
I mean, shit, Wallow just said everything that needed to be said. But each and every person spoke their own truth and spoke some helpful knowledge, meaning even when I get off this call, my son, I'm gonna make sure that you send me everybody's number, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take each and everything that I've learned or that I took from each one of them, and I'm gonna reach out to them, get the proper knowledge, and I'm gonna come back and apply it to my hood and apply it to my city and wherever else we can get that people to pay attention. It's a whole bunch of people that's just like us that ain't on this call too, that I'm definitely gonna be reaching out to, that we can just extend. And just hearing them saying about like the stuff with Derek and I believe Jay about different ways that we can put money in to actually grow just within ourselves and create our own economy. I'm all for that. And I'm one of the people, like I say, you know, I don't believe in sitting up talking about what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get to it. So you best believe they probably gonna be getting a call ASAP so we can figure this shit out. As far as Erica, how she spoke, that's why I spoke earlier. I say you have to make people be able to trust and understand. You got to touch them within the heart, and that's the only way they're gonna be able to understand is hearing the shit how they get it and how they give it. You know what I'm saying? I can't get nobody that's sitting in the office every single day that don't know nothing about the neighborhood to come out here and think that they're gonna pay attention to them. They either gonna rob, slap the shit out of them, or continue on with their motherfucking day. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they relate to me so much, as far as not just in Houston, just throughout the streets everywhere. One, on the entertainment side. Two, I'm a nigga that came from the streets, so I relate to them. You know, I don't judge them. The same fucked up shit they done is the same shit I done. I can only just give them the knowledge, like, hey, I bumped my head that way now. You take your ass out there and figure it out on your own, but I'm gonna give you that head start to let you know it might not go the way you think it's gonna turn out. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, I don't think this is something that we need to stop today. I don't think we need to water it down when we trying to do it every other day where motherfuckers ain't gonna want to hear it. But I think it's something that we gotta continue going, you know what I'm saying? Because shit, for some of the little homies out there who don't have fathers or real stand-up niggas in their life, we the niggas that's being that for them right now. So we gotta make sure we continue to do that.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, Trey. That's my motto, man. We gotta talk to him. We gotta tell him we've been through it now. If you wanna, I'm telling you, sharks in the water. If you wanna put your hand there, you can go on and do it. But the sharks is definitely there. So I appreciate that. Tony, on you.
Yeah. So I just want to say, first of all, man, it's been a pleasure, and I've definitely been inspired. You know, and you know, I'm just sitting here thinking about people like my father, man. You know what I'm saying? That's in prison right now and ain't got no line of defense. You know, so I want to say a prayer and shout out to everybody that's incarcerated and their families who dealing with the trauma of and the anxiety of not knowing what's going to happen to their loved ones. You know what I'm saying? And I say all that to say this. You know, we got to allow our people to really, you know, be able to acknowledge what they're going through. People going through a whole lot given this before this situation and given this situation, and you know, being hopeful and strategizing, all of this, those things aren't mutually exclusive from you acknowledging what's going on. People dying. I had 2 shootings around my way, and this week one young lady got killed, and then the dude got shot the other day. So like our communities are going through the same things they've been going through. And so everybody out there, just know that this panel right here, all these people we fighting, you know what I mean, for you. You got to fight for yourself, though. We want y'all to be accountable, right? We want y'all to look to your brother and sister and see yourself. We got to put them guns down. We got to see how we can help each other. We talking about group economics on this line, but also in the hood, we got to get back to leaning on each other, man, creating real community so that we can unify and have a defense not only against COVID, but a defense against anything that poses a threat to our families. And in closing, you know, I hope that everybody that tuned in today, you know, got something and wrote something down or something stuck in their mind about eating better, living better, thinking better. And again, much love to everybody here. I look forward to whatever we do moving forward. Y'all know y'all always can count on me, whether y'all in DC or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a call away.
Hey, my son, can I add one thing I forgot to say? We do need to find somebody on the inside too, because it's a whole bunch of mom and pop businesses that raise niggas like us that didn't even get a chance to get the grant money. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching them give people like Ruth Chris and other people goddamn 20 million and other shit. And you got so many mom and pops. We need to figure out what we can do or who we can find on the inside that can give us the proper knowledge where they will get approved for these grants. Because I can say at least 60% of the people I know got denied. They don't even have the opportunity to get the grants for their businesses.
Yeah, and this, I'm a part of the initiative that Robert Smith, the gentleman who paid for the class of 2019's tuition at Morehouse, he has an initiative where he's trying to help people with their applications to make sure that you can catch all of the pitfalls. That doesn't mean it's a sure shot, but there are services out there. And Robert Smith has something. So if you go on Instagram to Robert Smith's page, you can find information there. But I'm sure Jay Morrison also, and what's happening.
They ran out of money, so it don't even make no difference.
Oh, no. But
they read up.
They just put some more money.
So the executives of Chase called. We went through this whole thing. We went to the highest level, and what they said is that there's so many people in the queue that when it gets into the queue, like we couldn't even get an application in, and we applied the first day. Yeah. So they ran out of money again, even the new money.
Right.
They ran out of money.
There's supposed to be a third stimulus also coming. I just want to make sure, Erica, everything you said is 100% right. It's not going to be equitable. That's why we have to figure out other ways for our communities to make money. But there are some people who have been approved and have received the loans. And there are also other loans. PayPal has given out loans. Verizon has given out loans. So people have to really spend time digging and researching. I know it's not the easiest thing to do, but there is money out there. What I will say in addition to that is it's something that Until Freedom is working on, is really looking at how our businesses and our people, because to be clear, Black people specifically, and Black and brown people, marginalized communities are going to feel the impact of this particular pandemic for a long, long time. This is going to hurt us for decades, not just, other communities will come back from it. They will be able to access the loans. If I see people saying, I have 9 restaurants, they're saying, but I'm so afraid, that means they only going to have 2 left. We will have nothing. And so in our communities, we have to have a targeted approach. And whenever elected officials are out there speaking about packages and stimulus money, we got to have our voices as a part of that. So Until Freedom is going to be participating with many other groups and looking at how we pressure, because since they say that the Black community has been disproportionately impacted, that means that every time the stimulus money comes out, there should be a large portion of it that goes to testing in our community, that goes to strengthening us and economic benefits for our people. But that is not a part of the conversation. And I know that one of the control mechanisms is that because we are socially distancing, our people are not able to hit the streets and knock on elected officials' doors and to be out there really calling people's attention to our needs. So if anyone has ideas on ways that we can apply pressure, we're looking at them, and we're going to be working with a lot of groups to figure out how we do that in this moment. So I'm not even going to say anything else. I took my time to close out. So let me just say, I love all of y'all, and thank you so very much for participating in this conversation.
Love you back, man. Love y'all, man.
I guess I'm not mute mic mute.
Mike, you muted. I love y'all too, by the way.
Oh, my fault. I apologize. I was muted. So yeah, Reza, it's on you. We were gonna let you get your closing statements now.
Okay, yes, sir.
2
Man,
minutes, because we already over. We like
2
an
minutes.
hour over.
Gotcha. Well, you know how I do, brother. We can keep it to 6 seconds if it's up to you, but I'm gonna slow it down just so everybody can understand what I'm saying. Number one, in real life, I'll talk like that in real life. It's crazy, but our people's attention span is low, like Brother Wallow says. So I'm gonna just drop it in there as much as I can. Number one, buy seeds. Everybody has to get seeds right now. Non-GMO, non-Monsanto sponsored heirloom seeds. We have to grow food in our house, in our windowsill, right on the back porch if you have it, etc. Because the food shortage is extremely pivotal right now. They have already projected that there's going to be a famine of biblical proportions. I don't want to give you negative news, but I want to give you the solution so you can understand exactly what's going on. Grow food at home, number one. Number two, we're going to be going into the projects, Jordan Downs, Nickersons, and the Carmelitos out here in LA in about the next 2 weeks to drop off care packages with not only the essentials for cleaning, but also certain foods, etc., for all the families who are not able to get out, who can't afford it, who already ran out of the money, etc. So we're going to be doing that. So I just want to get any of your help with that, as far as not just, with your voices, but also whatever contacts you have when it comes to food, when it comes to clothing, water, etc. We want to get as many people involved in that, mainly for the projects in the hood for people who do not have the money to afford it. Number three, all the things that we have done so far with this panel has brought out one, unity, because no one contradicted or went against anything that anyone else said. So I want everyone to understand that we have demonstrated unity on this level right here. We have to continue to do this because this is what will be the example so that we can actually access freedom, justice, and equality, because this enemy is being very strategic on how they're moving, and they're moving in unity. We have to do the same. Also, when it comes to the money, a lot of our people don't have that much money right now, but if we pool our money together, if you live in the projects, if you live in the hood, we will have to trust each other now. We have no other choice. So if you and 2 other people who live right next door to you, you got 50, they got 100 that they can spare. You got another person who has another 50, that's 200. Y'all pool those dollars together and do something together. Now we have to be a community. We do not have a choice. We got to do what we have to do, because now we're talking about survival. It's no longer about being comfortable. It's no longer about anything else. We have to survive. And the other thing is, again, let's make sure we remain consistent, because the last thing our people need is for us to drop the ball at this moment, when this is the most pivotal moment, the most emergency type of circumstance that we're in. And we can go back and forth all day about everything else that we can do, but let's just make sure that we keep one another connected, keep one another in our prayers, know that God is involved, know that God is involved, know that God is involved. And let's not be afraid of this no more, because the only way they can control us is through our fear. But if we have power over our own emotions, we'll be able to come out of this on top.
Love that, brother. Appreciate you. Angelo, your closing statements.
So one thing I did want to start with, which I didn't mention I was supposed to, was estate planning. If you don't have a will, or if an older person in your family doesn't have a will, it's an important time to get it. I know some folks who are dealing with clients of theirs in major crisis because they didn't have an estate plan. So make sure you do that. The only thing I really want to say, and as a person with children, is turn your home into a classroom. Turn your home into a school if you have the ability to do it. And I think master yourself. Every room has the ability to teach your child about how to eat healthy, how to respond when they go outside. And also, how to make themselves economically empowered. I'm talking to my daughter now, and she's putting together an ebook. Like, now's the time to put out any content that you have that could be useful to folks. And I think also to encourage your children to think differently than traditionally how they're taught. Children are usually taught to just take in information, but now is a great opportunity for them to put out the things they love and the content they love, and to turn themselves into an entrepreneur. I think get closer with the people who are already in your circle. If it's the family that's in your household, the folks you're already connected to, and come out of this much better than you came in. And Jay, I got 1,000 for that next fund when you jump that off.
I'm ready. So next, I want to go to Erica. Erica, give us your closing statements. Oh, I think she said she had to jump.
Erica dropped the mic. She said what she said.
She said what she said. Kebra, give us your closing statements, Kebra.
The greatest cell tower is our physical tower of cells. So it's really important that you put life in the body. Let go of all the things you think you don't have, because we were born with everything that we need. So the more that you take in your bitters, Bitters make your blood clean, so the bitters make you sweet, and the sweets and the sugar make the blood bitter. The more you clean the blood, the less you will be enslaved to the addictions that are causing us to maintain disease. And just remember, green is the new gangster. So when you feel fear, afraid, when you feel not sure, that means you're not really in alignment with yourself, because we are born of the energy and love of love and a sound mind. Let go of looking outside of yourself for the answers, and know that the more that you elevate, purify, and cleanse, the answers are going to come, because that's in our DNA. So align, alkaline, remind. I eat that aloe.
Eat that aloe. Appreciate you, Queen. Derek Grace, closing statements, brother.
For the most part, big bro, I would just remind everybody that my personal opinion, because people's biggest question is, are things gonna go back to normal? I think they are gonna go back to normal. It's just gonna be a new normal. So I just urge everybody to prepare themselves as best they can. In my personal opinion, the economic effects of the coronavirus, this is just like the appetizer. And it's actually temporary. Now, what is going to be permanent is robots and artificial intelligence. So I urge everybody to just do their best to try to take a glimpse into the future, and just use this as, like, you know, a test of your character and your will to get your shit together. Because and I'm not even saying it like in a spooky way, but things are going to get a lot more serious in terms of job losses, economic downfalls, this and that and the third. So to me, the person that's focused on the future and prepping for that, aka preventative maintenance, making sure they're ready for shit before it hit them in the face, they're gonna respond the best. But outside of that, bro, I would just tell everybody just to stay focused no matter what. As long as you're in tune with self, everything in this life thing gonna flow, you know, whether good or bad. Build your family up, practice inclusion, make sure, you know, you're trying to create power players out of everybody in your home, and just staying ahead of the game. To me, bro, that's the biggest thing, is just staying ahead of the game. And we got to start waiting to invest in education and health shit till it's the only thing that could save us. Because that's why a lot of us get caught off guard to begin with. We literally been seeing the signs, like, I don't know, bro, the country been not really fucking with us. So at this point, nothing is a surprise. You just got to, you know, meet your adversity head on and keep it moving. But I will say, bro, I'm going to say what RZA said. We're going to be all right. It's going to be some changes, but you just got to make the proper adjustments and keep it moving. This is a sample, though.
Appreciate that, brother. Erica Ford, you back?
I'm back. I had to go, because this is a marathon goddamn conversation, yo. Y'all is tiring me the hell out. God damn, y'all know I can't sit still this long. But I'm here, like, let's go to work. I'm ready. There's a lot of people that speak on our behalf. Like, your mic has been turned off. We here speaking for ourselves. Bring the resources to the hood, or we gonna come get them and bring them to the hood ourselves. Like, we got work to do. I'm here to serve. Let's go. Tamika, start eating healthy.
Appreciate that. Keys, your last.
I am eating trail mix right now.
You're never gonna get off of that, sis.
Okay. What I wanted to eat was a Kit Kat, but instead I'm eating trail mix.
There you go, sis.
No shade.
Right on.
I want to say a message that my parents told me when I was younger. And I don't mean to offend nobody's sensibilities or anything, but you're a God. You understand me? And that God within is something that you got to tap into. You got to feed that God within. The God within don't eat junk food. The God within eat light. You understand me? Utilizes the elements. The reason I can go around the world and I can travel and crown people, different hoods, different backgrounds, whatever, because I've been in a situation before. And I ain't never been given nothing but a mindset on how to get something done, to do for self. You understand me? So when you talk about being fearless, that's where they got to come from within. You understand me? And so if we, regardless of the information that we get, you definitely got to make sure we never spread fear into our people, whether it's talking about coming out of side. We got to learn how to be able to manage ourselves. You understand me? And be mature enough to where we don't wait for our enemy to give us the best information when they put us in the wrong predicament in the first place. You know what I mean? So when I think about that, there's success blueprints all around. The ADL got a success blueprint. They go for power. The LGBT got a success blueprint. They go for power. You understand me? And so when we talk about organizing and mobilizing, we got to make sure that we so well equipped that it's mutually assured destruction. The same way where Ronald brought that in. So our new mutually assured destruction is getting that knowledge, mobilization, automation, digitization. It's about to be a mad world, so you got to become a mad scientist. And I don't think that the boys in the hood, you understand me, can't understand this language, because I talk to them every single day. You understand me? I travel around and I speak to them, and they have been exposed to a lot more information than we give them credit to. You understand me? So I think that, yeah, I'll meet you where you at. You understand me? But I'm gonna help you elevate to where you need you be. You understand me? So sometimes that look like increasing your language. A poor man don't speak the same language as a rich man. You understand me? A savage don't speak the same language as a civilized man. You understand me? So language gives you the ability to be able to express yourself. So when you confirm and affirm to yourself that you're a God, you understand me? You able to tap in and you able to govern yourself and delete these contracts you have with people that don't serve your best or your self-interest, which is freedom, justice, equality, and equity.
I appreciate that, Keys. That's dope. Jay Morrison, your last word.
So I'm just want to say first, I'm really encouraged by the unity, as Brother Reza said. King Mice, again, servant leader, King. You know, like, and I know you don't want the edification and all that, but it's just great when one of us step up, and the humility by everybody on the panel. Like, nobody came with a low vibration. This vibration is the example of how our community needs to move forward. This is that power. This is that God within all of us. This is everything that everybody has said is all magnified. This is life. This is everything. So I'm super encouraged by that. And I want the community that's watching this video to be super encouraged by these. We not waiting for some fairy to sprinkle fairy dust on Black people and repair us. This ain't us waiting for the system or them or they to come take care of us. This is self-determination in the flesh. This is us taking responsibility for our own community, for our own hoods, and doing for self. It starts with collaboration. It starts with Voltron. It starts with love and respect. So everybody here has a high vibration of love, respect, and regard. You know, I've been, like King Wallow said, I've been so focused on like all the shit I got on my plate. I literally don't follow anybody on the gram but my companies, my wife, and somehow Tamika Mallory, the only women I respect in the world. No, but after this call, man, I want to follow everybody here because I want to see y'all moves. I want to see y'all pages. And I just think that our unity is, I think the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, our unity is greater than an atomic bomb. And I think
that's right.
Like we are it. Everything that we don't pray for, ask for, hope for, wish for, we are it. And everything that we want to accomplish for our community, we can do it. And I think we all have made that. Most of us come from the hood or some variation of it, or definitely are affiliated with it. And for Derek Grace to be who he is, for Mike to come from prison from what he's done, for Tony Lewis has been through with his dad being in prison for a majority of his life, like all of our individual stories, King Wallow, 20 years in the pen, like, man, we Black excellence in the flesh. If this ain't an example of what we can do and what we can accomplish together in our individual rights, I just know the power of this collabo and the others that align with our vibration, we can solve every single issue that our community has, pre-COVID, COVID current, post-COVID, and everything in between. So we get intentional and do it on purpose. I have all the faith in the world that our community is in good hands with God's vision given through us.
I appreciate that. And with that said, I will close by saying I am honored and humbled, man. This panel here, this collection of leaders, credible messengers, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and everything is what I envision. This is exactly how I envisioned when I called you brothers, because these are brothers that I respect. I look up to, I respect you on different levels. I understand that you are authentic. I understand your authenticity. I've seen your authenticity, and I love that. And first of all, I want to say one thing real quick. Don't nobody take no Clorox, and don't drink no Clorox, because that ain't gonna kill the corona. You know what I'm saying? I want to say that. Second of all, first, I want to say
kill you, not the corona.
It ain't gonna kill the corona. It's gonna kill you. I want to say thank you to the source and Londell McMillan, who I reached out to, and he immediately said whatever you need for this esteemed panel. And then I want to get back to you, brothers, man. Every one of you are brothers that I see on the front line that speak truth to power. They don't care what somebody else says. You know, I watched Derek Grace on his Instagram one day, and he said, I look like everything that they told you was wrong. He said, I got tattoos, I got a gun in my hand, my daughter, I got big chains on. He said, I'm a millionaire. I'm self-educating my children. I'm not a gangbanger. I'm not in prison. He broke it down. See, unity is not uniformity. And this is what this panel represents. It represents unity. Each one of us come from a different perspective, but we all got the same objective. And that's what I want. That's what our community is based on. It's based on people that come from different mind states that have different realities, but they all have the same exact location, and we're trying to get to the same destination. So we're gonna move forward with this panel. It's gonna turn into like I said, a conglomerate of people that's really, this is not just talk. I don't want this to be talk. Everything that we said, we're gonna move forward with. First thing we're gonna do is put together that list for the hood that we said we was gonna do at the beginning of this panel, because I remember that. We putting together the list for the hood, the do's and the don'ts. This is what the hood should be doing right now. That's and after that, we're gonna talk about how collectively we come together to pool our resources and turn ourselves into our own Fortune 500, to where we building our community, we able to empower our community and able to hire our community, and we're able to own our community. So with that said, I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to all the people who tuned in. I hope that you got as much of it out of it as I did. And if you didn't, then you need to rewind it, because there's so many jewels in here. Our sisters who rounded it off. Kepra, you amazing. Erica, you the gangsterest person I ever seen. Tamika Mallory, you fearless, and all you brothers here, man. I appreciate all of y'all. And we're gonna do this again. We gotta do this again, because I know they're gonna call to this.
That's right.
You know? So I appreciate y'all, and I want to say I love all of y'all. And till next time, we're gonna get
love
on
y'all.
Love
Peace, man. Love y'all, man. Be safe.
I love y'all.
Peace. Love you.
Peace.
Let's
love
make
you.
it happen, family.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.